god! I can't believe it's happening! It's back! That's right! Midweek Muster returns! What is up, one and all? Happy Friday! I forget we started on Fridays. Apparently I need to refresh that in my brain. Hopefully you all had a good end of the year and happy new year to one and all. We kick off in style, the way we always do. More Age of Empire 4 Esports. Because we are back in action. And I knew I hadn't updated that bracket. I was like, you know what? Everything feels too free and flow and everything's good. We're back for another one. Some people chickened out last second. Also, I just realized I've also left the tournament logo up. So let me just get rid of that. That's right. We are back for KPMM 8. And a lot of familiar faces have signed up again. A few of them decided to bugger off, though. They decided they want to take a break. I think they're a little bit worried about how tournament elo might affect their positioning in a certain upcoming S-tier tournament. Pussies. But we respect it. You know, sometimes you just got to take a little bit of a break. You don't want Louis MT snatching too many points away from you. Is the PC build you did on YouTube? Not yet. I need to get around. Oh, well, there's a VOD. There is actually a VOD up. I wanted to edit it down. I'm just not sure if I'm going to get around to that. So I might post-release the full broadcast. It happened on the 18th of December if you're looking for it. It is in there. It's also Twitch VOD highlighted here. So very easy to find. Although, you know, watch on YouTube, it's a better quality, to be honest. I don't think VODs actually generate revenue on Twitch from ads, whereas YouTube they do. But yeah, my goal with that has been a little bit delayed because I got ill and yeah, everything was like snowballing. The goal with that really is to create some short edited pieces of content around each of the sponsors. So I'm hoping to get that done this month. Really need to get that done this month. It's just a little bit slow. Apologies, that's on me. You know, I thought I had a YouTube editor stepping in to help, and that was going to make it easy breezy, but I'm kind of back where we started. And what is up, Archer? You are back where you began, where it matters most. Subscribed at tier 2. What a legend, dude. I don't have many people coming in on the tier 2 sub, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. I need to think of more stuff, like, I don't know, people who are actually tier 2, which I think might mainly just be Archer. Let me know what you guys want, because obviously, like, I don't know if many people really add much to the tier 2, tier 3 things. I think you get, like, different looking sub-emotes automatically. I'm just thinking what else could really be added there. But, yeah, like I said, on the PC build side of things, my goal is to create some very short reels, like, you know, for YouTube, TikTok, of each of the sponsors and talking about why you should have them and the value of them. In terms of like the longer VOD, I think I might just upload that as like the 6-hour thing. I mean, it's technically already up there. I just need to probably create like a separate list so it's clearer. But anyway, we're going to be opening with B versus Jeticla, guys. I want to get a move on with this because straight after this series, we're going to have, where is it? My brain's looking in the wrong place. It's Starlock versus Ramen. And I don't know, we might get Dimu afterwards. I'm not sure. It might just be too late for him. We'll see. They have got the weekend after all. So I'm going to start the game. We're getting underway. By the way, this week, we open with King of the Hill every time. Yes, sir. Dude, I'm so excited for that. King of the Hill, man, it's been missing for a long time. I think it's actually worth the revisit. So I'm actually quite excited to see how people approach it and how different it feels to where it was before. Because I think it is going to be a really different feeling. To the extreme, right? Like, it's... The last time we saw it was in the Springle meta, and that was like months and like seasons and seasons before we reached the Springle meta. So like drastically different experience likely to come out there. 1 second, I just accidentally closed an extra window I didn't mean to. All right, there we go. All right, fantastic. We should be good to get underway. So let me just open up their data. As I said, we're going to be opening up every time on King of the Hill. B's probably going to go English, right? Keep it kind of classico. Like, dude, giving English HRE and Byzantines and Jeticla, buddy, we got to talk about the drafting because that's freaking criminal, man. I can't believe all that got let through. So map 1, he actually went Byzantines instead of English. It's going to be Byzantines versus Rus. I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't pick the English. In terms of map pool, here you go. We've got Boardland and Hallowed Spring. Maybe he thinks English can work on Hallowed Spring. It's a little bit weird. It's like a very, very big Himiyama. Something is wrong in the draft. Oh, dude, 100%. Like, it's actually crazy how much B got. I don't know. I think this is where players like that don't play competitively regularly need to just reassess a little bit and think about it. Just kind of take a calming moment, assess the draft, approach it. right? Because like we're seeing this quite a lot in the round of 32s. It's like, you know, I don't know, maybe drafting is deep and complex in a lot of people's eyes. For me personally, it doesn't feel that way, and I'm not saying that to shame people. It's just like mentally for me, I don't see it as like there are nuances that can give you an edge, but like not to this extreme should it be happening. It should be quite obvious, some of these picks. And thank you everyone for the happy partner anniversary. That's right, dude. It's been a year of being a partner. Only a year. It took me a long time to get the consistency and the growth, but I appreciate you all for making it possible. All right, should we get underway? 1 second, I just need to send there too. All right, good. We are live everywhere. Let's kick it off. A brand new year, 2025, the first competitive series you are going to see in this year. And it is in Midweek Muster number 8. Home map this time around is going to be King of the Hill. We have returned to an absolute classic. Man, kind of crazy actually to think just how long it's been since this would have been seen in competitive. Like a very, very long time, right? Like we're thinking probably, was it 2022 when it last got used? I want to say around there. Possibly some point in 2023, but then just fell off the side of a mountain. Probably these mountains, for good reason, right? A map that just became way too campy. You just gathered on the sacred site, you build a landmark or a keep here, and then you just had Springles to hold. Now things are different, right? Trebuchets are realistically heavily buffed compared to where they were before. So I think with that in mind, we're going to see quite a different style of divergent gameplay into the mid-game than what we saw in the past. And possibly a few more civs that are viable, especially considering last time we would have seen this in the high competitive play. I don't think we actually had the new civs. But yeah, Roost definitely a classic. Jeticla definitely wants that high trade house in the corner, as chat is highlighting. It's cool, but like on the other side of things, we have got Byzantines that again have a very aggressive ramp timing here. The berry spawn's also not too bad, right? Not too long of a walk, although it does make you predictable. However, a very easily wallable map, right? And a civ like Roost are usually going to try for things like the Knights. Looks like Jeticla might be considering going for Pro Scouts, which we know has been growing in popularity. Sheep gathering is looking a little bit bleak for B. Yeah, oh man, he missed 2 on the hilltop. He didn't realize. There's 3 up here that he's not going to gather. Made that 4. He might be able to clutch it just in time. Yeah, because it looks like Jeticla for some reason went west side instead of east side and cut inward. Usually you want to cut inward here because there's not going to be anything around the back. Could be he wants to scout what his opponent's doing, but I mean, it's Byzantines, right? Like you'd be able to see that without going too deep anyway. So actually, B is going to get a pretty damn good haul because that second scout from Jeticla is almost entirely wasted, right? It got the 3 sheep close to where it started, and then the rest just didn't gain traction. Very healthy position. What do you guys think? Do you think you should be able to see up hills like this, or do you think that scouts should be blind uphill? Would that make this kind of more interesting, especially a map like King of the Hill, or would it make it more frustrating? I guess you could argue it would just make it inherently meta to go straight to the center as quickly as possible. And if that was the case, then I guess like spawns like this would just mean B is at a disadvantage unfairly, right? Because he got a blocker here, whereas near in Jeticla would have got like direct access. We do indeed have the extra hunting cabins coming in. The point of scouts is vision control. I mean, sure, but like the environment is meant to manipulate vision. I've heard some people moaning again about like stealth forest, and I shake my head because I'm like, okay, I actually like these sort of things. I can understand if you want stealth forest to be smaller. But I would say if that happened, what I'd love to see instead is a special type of forest that scouts can't see into until they're inside. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that there's areas that manipulate vision. Like, if you've ever watched StarCraft, StarCraft has that, right? The small little fog areas, the very small fog areas. It's kind of like when you play a MOBA, like Here's the Storm, and then you have the Finn kind of Shroud, or like with Deadlock, you have the Shroud Walls, right? I think they're really cool. I'd love to actually see AoE 4 add an extra layer of like, you know, vision deception mechanic in terms of terrain type. The issue is probably like if you have that and have stealth forest still, you're starting to confuse the player a little maybe. And oh boy, we have got the Kremlin coming. This is pretty old school from Jeticla. It's not a terrible idea per se, but it does have its issues. And one of the big ones, guys, is if the Kremlin is here, what's here? Because B is going for the good old Hippodrome build that we know historically he's loved. And those horsemen are going to have 3 raid targets onto the tree lines, right? The tree line's going to be unguarded. I mean, this is a little bit odd. Like, in fact, there's an even bigger worry. Like, what if B just goes for fast castle into Kadas? He's going to be going for the play into Pro Scouts first, but that could still be Cataphracts. I can't believe we're getting Hippodrome Pro Scouts. It's been a while. Kraken, he was just in the chat. He was here with me before when we were memeing about it. He even went and actually played on the ladder at the time. But like the idea isn't terrible, right? Like, you activate the Triumph, you're able to chase down the enemy scouts, just wipe them out. You also do decent damage against villagers at that stage as well. And also you've saved 150 wood on your way to Pro Scouts, right? Because you didn't have to build the stables. It's not hopium, I swear. Like, actually, if anything, with the Cataphract build, it makes even more sense. A bit of annoyance coming in from the torch damage here, but nothing too worrisome. Jeticla, in the meantime, is going to start walling himself in. So he's starting to alleviate the concern we had. However, there's still a giant opening to the north. And keep in mind, the last time this map would have been seen in competitive play, walls were built twice as quickly. That's actually a really big deal. It's going to take a long time for one villager to cover both sides. Arguably, like, you'll be dead before you do that, right? 2 horsemen could be blocking you on one side. In fact, Jeticla, is he really good? Okay, no, guys, this is too greedy. This is way too greedy. He's already been out-scouted, and Jeticla's now having to switch into spears. In the meantime, he's just going to start taking the goodies home. We do have a horseman coming out. There are spears on the way from Jeticla, but they're being built in the center? Oh boy. And Jeticla, he didn't go for Pro Scouts himself, right? So this is only a one-wayer. What's up, Ahoy Sailors? Thank you very much, mate. Back to work today? Oh, yes. We've got you covered. When you're at work, we should be your bread and butter, mate. Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Oh, it's a chef's kiss. And by the way, just a reminder that these midweek musters are continuing from now all the way through until June. Say what? Tell your friends. Bring your wife. I don't know if your wife will actually be into it, but, you know, like, try to see if she wants to share the hobby, you know? So funnily enough, that horseman was kind of wasted by B. I don't like that. I think that was a little bit haphazardy. Like, you know, your target's the deer. He's not even going for the aggressively sided deer anyway. So, like, right now, B is still going to be trending toward that castle age. I just think he could have been a bit more greedy with his deer take. Probably was paranoid about interception coming. And in fairness, Jeticla has now got some blockers of the spears, but guys, we're seeing the big problem starting to emerge. That's a castle play. And Jeticla kind of has nothing for it. If this is sippy cups, Jeticla is going to ironically be the one looking like the baby in the face of the sippy cup. Because Kremlin is not going to kill a Cataphract that's sipping. A Wooden Fortress is not going to kill it. Also, you have, what, 15 villages? Okay, so in fairness, he has split his economy, but some of it is split in a way that it's not going to be protected at all. He has only got 2 villages here, so you don't have to worry about them dying on the Kremlin. It's kind of interesting, actually. I thought B might try for, like, a Kairos Siphon all-in feudal play. I think that could have worked here as well against the Ruse. And this is an insane... Okay, thank God. I was about to say, I thought it was Pro Scouts. I was about to have my jaw drop there. Do you guys ever feel like Pro Scouts and Survival Techniques should have different emblems? Like, they have a little difference in emblems above the deer, but it's quite bloody similar. Like, Survival Techniques could be something that encompasses deer and boar as a symbol, right? I almost want to say it could be like some sort of bow and something else that represents gathering. Maybe. Fishing upgrade 1 and 2 have the same symbol? That's true. But you know what? When you watch pro games, isn't this annoying? These symbols stay the same all the way through the tiers. Even though they changed them individually. Like, remember, now, like, the individual ecotechs have different emblems. It just doesn't show in Capture Age. The walls are going up, man, but it's happening. We're getting sippy cups. Oh, man. Jeticla might be about to cry, baby, cry. This is a bit tough. Right now, he doesn't have a great answer. He's trying to build the spears, trying to get the walls up. Has a decent number of them online right now. So we'll be able to buy some time. However, look at where the relics are. This is actually a really big deal. He hasn't blocked a single relic. So even if B can't do immediate damage, he has a backup plan to get economy. Which Merc contract will B take? You can go LBs here because the spears. You could also just kind of go for Keshiks if you really want mass cav. I personally would say you go Lombos here. It just makes a lot of sense. The other possibility, like you sometimes will see people go for the Silk Road just to get the camels, right? It's similar to the cavalry idea of Keshik, but also gives you a blocker against Roos's castle plays. But like right now, you're against spears, right? Like if you're gonna do anything, it'll be lombos. Otherwise, you sell the olive oil. B with the sippy cups online now. It's still yoinking away more deer. First cataphract did just come out. And this is where things start to get a little bit problematic from Jeticla. He's going to dive in with the Horseman. A little bit of an interesting choice being made there. The cataphract is now going to start clubbing. Jeticla goes to the pinch, but it just doesn't work. He can even just trample through. That's exactly that. A little bit of 10-pin bowling with the Spearman. And now you can just peel off, right? You have to wait 45 seconds to rejuvenate, but he's already got a second cataphract coming to try and wipe out the remainder here. Jeticla's starting to save for an age up, but there it is. The Doom detail, Western contract now on the way. Which stage? This is pretty much in Jeticla with no play. Right? Like, what do you do at that stage? You already have to go overkill to address the cataphracts. The Lombos are now not only a blocker to spear play, they're a blocker to crossbow play. He has at least got the walls up, so doesn't immediately die to what's coming, but I am struggling to believe that he's going to be able to hold this Kremlin spot on the high ground for long. He's actually being quite ungreedy about this. Like, and what I mean by that is, although he's stockpiling crap tons of resources, it's not like he's going straight for relics. It's almost like he's padding himself a little bit. In fact, if anything, he needs to get another stables down. Right, you've only got the Hippodrome pumping right now, which is why he's flooding so much resource. Jeticla. Wait, what? Okay, we have a little bit of a miss macro. That is an insane amount of gold. And he's about to get insane amounts more gold. Oh, no. He got the cursed corner. Oh, you hate to see it. Actually, no, screw you. You're going to get a big one. Get your numbers in, folks. Because despite these two trees blocking him from getting absolutely slapped in the corner, it's still going to be a fat stack of cash coming his way. B has got the veterancy already coming for those Lombos. Is even gathering a little bit of extra olive oil to guarantee and get towards what he needs here. This first wave of Lombos can actually be pretty impactful against the spears. Interesting gulp activation there. Was that maybe a misclick? I don't feel like it was worth it just yet. Lombos do have the veterancy in, so they're now going to start feeling that sting. Even going for the vet on those spears, when you're already now starting to find yourself counted. High trade out is going to be 128 trees. Welcome back to King of the Hill. Yeah, Roos should actually, funnily enough, be quite highly bannable in this week's rotation. 131 gold. So he's getting about 262 gold a minute. Now the clash comes in, but the veterancies are there. What? Okay, no, that's him broken right there. He lost all spears. I can't believe that. And Jeticla, he didn't have the patience to wait for veterancy. A complete waste of his limited troops. And now, secondary line of walls is coming in, but the cata count is so insanely high. I don't think B cares. In fact, at this stage, right, just get a scout with the group and get trapezites. You'll be able to torch through this in no time. Men at Arms is also, yeah, kind of awkward, right? We said about the need for crossbows here. Like, realistically, yes, there are Lombos. Remember, B went for Pro Scouts. He doesn't have insane amounts of olive oil. If you just went crossbows plus spears, stand a chance here. Second line of walls now going to get breached. Jeticla, once they get in, there's no getting them out. I mean, I'm just looking at the count here, and this is ugly. 40 villagers in trouble. Only enough room to protect 24 of them. Oh, sorry, 26. 262 gold, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Remember, on the other side of this, the buff is pretty fat stacked to B. He's already up to level 3 on the system. Yeah, pretty obnoxious to deal with. About to go up to level 4. He was at 22%? 22% increase, I believe it's going to be. My brain is being weird. Yeah, 22%. I mean, you're a mile ahead of the stage, right? The only thing that your opponent can mirror that with is wood. And that's exactly what Jeticla doesn't need. Jeticla is going to be sneaking out to the north side away from the problem. But bailing on the food, and, well, luckily he had actually cleared out most of that, if not all. The problem I'm seeing right now is Jeticla, where is he actually getting food? It's just these berries, right? Yeah, and then the limited deer. He's lucky these have been spawning. Yeah, I'm not going to delude you guys. I don't see a way now for blue. I mean, B's finally going for those relics. He's really delayed about this, but it's worked out to his advantage, right? Cataphract's already roaming in, forcing a lot of idle time. You know, you could try to cap the Sacred Site. It looks like he's going for that Classico play, but 10 minutes against this is something hard to believe in. I mean, we're at a point where he could probably just get Trapezites and burn down the Kremlin. He's going to start roaming in. Now, the funniest part is B doesn't even have Undermesh, but it doesn't matter as much considering Jeticla didn't get his Blacksmith Techs either. Kind of crazy that B's skipping on it. Like, at this point, Undermesh definitely worth it. And there you go, it does get queued up. Only 25 seconds out. We're sniping a villager, and the movement comes in. The Wooden Fortress is going to be going down fast. Guys, he has 7 flasks. I just... What do you do against this? Just trample. Horse is like, oh, I got human skull stuck on my hoof. I won't come out in the wash. Well, it looks like B is done washing his blade in the blood of his enemy of Jeticla. Looks like he's going to be going out of game number 1, already on the ropes in midweek muster number 8. Oy, oy, oy. Brutal start there. So we'll give B a win. And let's rush in because we've got a live series starting in just a few minutes. So I want to get to. So where are they going next? I think I glanced Hallowed Spring. Wait, what happened with the draft? Why has it done that? I think Hallowed Spring is... Wait, why is the draft doing that? That's very... Oh, I see. That's very weird, yeah. What's that? Do that. And then... Does it work? Okay, it's just broken the draft. I used the B win button, and it's like, broke. Never seen that before. Bit weird. All good, though. Let's get ready for the next game. So, Hallowed Spring, HRE versus IU. This can be like a 50-50 matchup, actually. It's not absolutely tragic for him. One sec. Let me... Dude, has that fixed the draft now? No, it's just... The draft is just broken. Why is it showing random, random, random? What? There we go. Okay, it loaded again. Alright, so let's hop in. Let's see what we can do. Now, this used to be like a 50-50 matchup. But now... Oh, dude. The rank spams from HRE and Dark Age is getting out of control. And of all the maps to do it on as well... Jeticla, we go into Hallowed Springs, which is just like Himayama 3.0. Has 8 fishing stacks on it, right? So that's 4,000 food. And Jeticla could not resist the temptation. And folks, we may be looking at a pretty swift 2-0 stomp. This is not a great start for him. Going in Darksider is going to leave him susceptible to the spear spam. And B, he already scouted it. He's on the move. We're going to hit the fast forward. Just the early game here. So Jeticla has to go Advancement Wing. It's his only hopes, but this is going to be tricky. I don't even know if you can get the food and gold together quick enough to justify the play. The issue you have is like HRE's economy in Dark Age is just so good due to the gathering rate. That 40% buff is nuts at this stage of the game. Then you add in the fact that these spearmen move quicker, right? It just allows you to get more value out of the investment faster. Value he will find. Jeticla. I don't think this is... If you go Advanced Wing, you lose anyway, right? Like, you might as well now just admit you're going to have to do something more desirable. Logistics, possibly? Possibly logistics, I think. 40% gather rate is more than a fully upgraded Imperial Villager. Yep. That is nowadays anyway, when you're talking about food, right? 10%, 10%, 10%. At least the old schools of the wood and the gold can be competitive. But at this stage in the game, it's all about food. That's what makes the HRE's opening Dark Age Spear play so damn strong. He's not going to stop there. He's also looking to block gold. And no, he goes Advancement Wing. And he gets outpost rushed. Okay, this is... To call this catastrophic may be an understatement. It looks like Jeticla is going to try to make lemons into lemonade. Up. He gets scouted again. Oh. Doesn't even hang around to finish the explosion. Just leaves one spin to do it. He's already on the move. And that villager, the dot might not even go up. I don't know how you're meant to do anything here as a Jeticla. He cancels the dock. Marching Drills is going to kill him on the retreat. That's guaranteed. The outpost is already up. We'll stick to this fast forward because we have got a live series coming up in just a sec, but I'm confident in saying this is a very swift GG. I mean, B, he can do whatever he wants from here, right? Like, he can keep pressuring in Feudal, he can go fast Castle. And Jeticla's now reacting to Archery range, but that doesn't get him access to the gold straight away. He's going to have to stop off for a Ram as well. Arkin is now coming up. And now B, I mean, if he wants, yeah, he's already got the villager out here. If he wants, he could actually just go for the dock. I don't think he's going to do that. Instead, I think he's going to double down on pressure now, because he's got such a big edge, right? Like, his opponent lost a worker. His opponent also wasted a lot of resources trying to do what he's doing. Only upside from Jeticla is technically he can have vision on the front side, right, with this fishing boat. Might not be enough, though. Archers are on the move, at least. If Jeticla's going to try to reclaim... Wait, this is not enough archers. This is actually legitimately not enough archers. B can pinch him. He's baiting him, he comes from both sides. And that's probably going to be another villager going down. Yeah, it's even worse, right? Because the archers are behind the villager, you can charge onto the archers and then pinch the villager. Oh, come on. That was vicious. He gets the maximum value out of those spears. The best part is he never even bothered to upgrade this outpost, right? He can't yet. He didn't keep the spearman around for it. Instead, he now goes for his own dock play after delaying this one long enough. The archer ship is already on the way, and the maths doesn't support this. The maths legitimately doesn't support Jeticla. This villager is going to die, right? It's going to be a 15-second window where an archer ship can get across here. This looks grim. If the archer ship whiffs its shots, maybe, but I don't think B's going to do that. I think he knows. His timing is all too clear. He's going to dive across. And Jeticla should have pulled 2 villagers for this. And now he is in Doom Central. There's no way you're getting that up. He's at least getting pressure on with the archers, but the villager is so low now. Does B go for the dive? Yep. Jeticla. Dude, it's a 6.5 tower range unit. You got to show it some respect. Oh my god. This is painful to watch. Yeah, I think Jeticla, like, when you're this far behind, instead of just trying to min-max, not getting further behind, the play is just, like, play as if that is your last play in the game, right? One villager was never likely to get away with that. B is just way too switched on. It's going to be a 2-0 to kick off 2025 and Midweek Muster 8. Oy, oy, oy. That was... Jesus. Someone call a paramedic. All right, so... We're now going to have a live series. We have got... Where is it? So Starlock versus Ramen should be starting to draft now. So let me get the draft ready of that. We can hop straight into it. Where is it? Am I blind? Well, they should have started. Do we have a draft? Give me a sec, guys. See if they're already in game. Because we should have started based on their scheduling. We have a backup series if not. It's all good. They just say 14:30. You guys start now. If they aren't here on time, we do have... there we go. It just popped up. Because we had Lemonos versus Red Darksider as a backup. Looks like it popped up. All right, all good. So yeah, guys, we're going to be doing Starlock versus Ramen. In fact, what I can do, I can actually put the draft up live as it happens. So... where is it? I really need to attach a TikTok scene for like display capture, actually, now that I think about it. Should we add one on the go? It's probably going to look a little bit dog, but let's go ahead and do it. So, oh wait, I do have a display cap. Oh, nice. So what we can do... oh my god. Which one do I want? I guess we can do cam there, and then we'll do... we can just add a window. That's fine. Wait, why is that not working? Window capture add here. Oh, you can't add a window capture like that. Bugger. Window capture... what's it called? 2. Brilliant. Ah, there we go. That looks a bit scuffed, but we'll bring it down. Boom. Okay, so we are going to be seeing some Gorge. Yeah, so we rotated Atacama out last second, folks, because like I thought about it and it just wasn't worth having the consistent issue of people potentially using the wrong spawn and then us having to admin police that. It's just a lot of extra overhead. So until the devs figure out a fix that map, we aren't going to be having Atacama back in the weeklies. Thanks, always cursing. I mean, yeah, that is like... I can't fault that. That's pretty much Twitch in a nutshell. Wait, actually, no, that's not true. Promoting content, they never do that. You were so close, mate. Lemonos versus Red Darksider, 2 Germans. Let's go. Yeah, we might check that one out a little bit later. I think they had... that series may have already been played or was midway through. I think. Oh, wait, no, they must be practicing. Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm pretty sure they aren't facing off. No. So, like, Red Darksider, Lemonos isn't happening. That is, yeah, that isn't gonna be happening yet. Where are they? Lemonos? Yeah, they're really far apart. So it's Lemonos versus Miyamika and Cat versus Red Darksider that needs to happen. So yeah. Anyway, back across there. Oh, I need to link this scene. Crap, how do I link scenes for my thingy? I forget. Ah, casting with cam, there you go. Link scenes would be those 2. Boom. Red Darksider plays Cat in half an hour. Yep. I know. We might catch that one. It depends. We've got that, and then half an hour afterwards we have Dragan versus M7. So we have quite a few options, really. What's up, Myriad? Did you miss what? The B series? Yeah. Myriad, when are you playing? Use your schedule, son. Oh, ad time. Okay. Yeah, we'll run them. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's run a 1.5 minute ads now, and then you guys don't have to worry about it when we come back from it. No, KPMM. Dude, you're signed up. Pretty sure you're signed up, aren't you? I'm pretty sure I listed you here. Where are you? Yeah, you got Prabuti. Whoever that is. I don't know who Prabuti is. Free schedule you forget. Dude, you're such a donkey. Go schedule your crap now. I've had enough of this. I'll beat you with a stick. It's only been going on for like eight events now, you know? Very new format. We've never done it before. Wait a second. Except when we always do it. Okay, so let's get that updated. We have our draft. Let's have a look at this. Did anyone get clear edge? Cataphracts are so obnoxious? Yes, Jerome. Dude, they are... Like, what really makes them ridiculous is the sippy cups, though. That's what just takes it to a new extreme. Is Friday night considered midweek? Sure. Because you still have Saturday and Sunday afterwards. Also, in fairness, like, we literally go from Friday to Thursday. So, yeah, we are midweek. Fun little cheat you can watch on YouTube and stay ad-free. Funner thing to help the content creator. If you want to do that, go for it. But keep the Twitch open as well. Or, here's the funnest hack of all. YouTube is like, you know, people are like, I don't have to wear ads. You actually do still get ads there. They're just different. And says about the quality, but what you can do is you can basically watch it for the quality there, and then for the interaction, Twitch. I think that's a cool balance. And also, that just helps me as a content creator. Because then sponsors come by and they go, ooh, this bird has big numbers. We want to sponsor him. Very nice. And then I'm like, wow, very nice. So, what I need to do, ramen. I don't think I had ramen added. Let's fix that. I don't know what Starlock's calling himself now on the ladder. He's changed his name again, hasn't he? He always changes his bloody name. He changes his name more than I changed my my glasses. And I changed my glasses a lot. Like, look, right now. I'm literally going to change them right now. What's this? Oh. Overwatch. Dude, I love that. It's so pretty. There you go. Thank you, Papa Smurf. Whoop. Oh, there we go. See? Just change glasses. Just like that. This is so simple. And, like, I change my glasses that frequently, and then there's Starlock changing his name more frequently. I mean, the guy is out of control. It's unhinged, I swear. Anyway, yeah, that's right. He has a real in his name. Just in case we thought, just in case we weren't sure. I don't know who was impersonating him. Is this someone doing like a Divine DFP Mark II? So we'll add him as well. I mean, just so we have them both for future. What's the term I like to use for posterity's sake? Oh my god, dude, there's so many smudge marks on these. What have I done? Let me quickly wipe them. So yeah, we should have like a minute or two until we're in game. Look at the drafts though. Dude, Ramen, are you kidding me? How does, like, I mean, I know King of the Hill's in there, right? But Delhi and HRE like that. English is the highest priority ban. Ramen has gone for what? The classic roost for King of the Hill opener. Starlock's response is probably going to be... Do we see Byzantines as well? I think Starlock's more likely to go for the Chinese. He does quite like the Byzantines. He's played a lot of them. In terms of other places he could whip them out, Gorge makes a lot of sense. Gorge is probably either going to be them or the Malians. And then Hallowed Spring actually is going to be the question mark. Like, if you use King of the Hill Chinese... I don't necessarily think China is a higher value on Hallowed Spire. Hallowed Springs, rather. But what would you put there instead? Is the normal King of the Hill map not some... Yes, it's the normal version of Starlock. Yeah, just the normal version. We're bringing back the default ski. Yeah, we haven't created an extra edition. I think we did end up using... Was it EGC Gorge? Yeah, so we're using EGC Gorge. But that's, like, literally as the names are listed is what you want. We didn't really have to change King of the Hill because the meta has changed enough that it felt worth exploring, I'd say. So, yeah. Where's Divine DFP been? I believe he moved across to Age of Mythology, is my understanding. He hopped ships. So, I don't think he's going to be back. I don't know how he's doing there, if it's working out well or not. But good luck to him. KOTH ST map. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's the civs that make it more problematic. Like, I think there's certain maps where I almost want to say, like, drafting individually on a map would make them more, like, applicable widely. So, for example, we had, what's it called? The meme map where Roost and English were really good. I've forgotten its name. The one where you spawn close to each other inside the tree circle. That one, like, you know, that type of map, Haywire, thank you, okay. So Haywire is the type of map where you almost just want to have a draft for the map that would make it better. Where you ban two, then you snipe another pick, and you're left with a final pick. Something like that, right? Same with, like, mountain clearing, maybe. I think mountain clearing might have enough stratagem to it. It just can't be a default map, right? King of the Hill, we'll see how it goes. I thought it was interesting to just revisit because otherwise people are just not going to touch, kind of like Highview. I don't think King of the Hill has the same breadth to a draft that that Highview does. So we'll probably see some limitations in terms of what is viable picks, probably 4 or 5 that work. And also, it's going to have a drastically different effect on the draft because of the English-Rus volatility, right? What makes that especially intriguing to me is how when you get into the grand finals territory, you're going to see the secondary draft be drastically different to the first. Mountain Clearing has so many good civs now, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I think like it's the problem with some of these maps that get introduced that super meme-y is like they just get written off as super meme-y, even though the game evolves as new civs added. Also, people start to figure things out, right? It's like it's the example of like something that's cheesy when it first comes out versus something that remains viable as it goes on. You know, like those are two very different things. I'm going to start predictions, by the way. I'm going to do 30 seconds of ads. Oh wait, no, I can't. Ads already done. All right, well we'll do predictions then. That I can do. That we definitely can do. So, Ramen versus Starlock. You guys have 2 minutes. By the way, guys, I've been playing some Total War Warhammer 3 off stream. Can confirm, this beast runs it. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Maximum settings, 2K resolution, freaking feels like unlimited frame rate. Like, compared to my old PC where I'd feel that lag, even by the mid-game, I ain't feeling it at all. Do you think the new civs will be 2 new and 4 variant civs? I kind of like that idea. I think it's a nice way to go. They just need to make sure they actually have the new civs having campaigns. I want the new expansion to have 3 campaigns. Like, anything less, I'm going to be disappointed. It's back. Forgive me, Father Fire may have sinned. We have returned King of the Hill to the competitive pool in week number 8 of the midweek muster. One and all, welcome back. Hopefully you had a good time over the holidays. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed and ready to be reminded why you hate this map. Nah, I'm kidding. King of the Hill, man, I think this map's going to be intriguing to see again. It's been so long since we last saw it, and it was boring what it turned into, right? Roos is admittedly going to be making an appearance like it always did. Sure, but the biggest issue with King of the Hill was just how it turned into capture sacred site, camp, win game, yawn. It was cool to watch the first 10 times and then boring afterwards. However, I thought, considering it's been, I think, well over a year since we've had it in top-tier competitive play, it was worth a revisit here. Especially since in Season 9, with the siege rework, static defenses are less effective against these trebuchet all-ins because you can no longer get sniped by spring ords. We're going to be opening with Starlock versus Ramen. Chinese versus Roos, man. Is it real? Does this feel like a landmark race to the center? They had to quit recent Total War games due to the siege battles. And that's why Longshanks came back to Age of Empires 4, because in Season 9, our siege battles are better. There we go. Fixed it. Yeah, this is feeling like it might be a barbecue rush in the center. I think Ramen had a similar idea, but now he's going to have to change tune. Cam is already being spammed up, 3 of them in total, so looking to gen as much as possible. Ramen's likely going for a fast castle build. Starlock, Last time we saw the Barbican rushes, Imperial Academy wasn't as ridiculously over the top. The way that Starlock's gathering, this could still be the Barbican pool. It's just if it is, it's going to be really expensive on time. Right? You're not going to do it with Wheelbarrow. You have not got a favorable ramp spawn. Like, actually, yeah, King of the Hill still kind of has this problem, right, with the generations. I do think that there's maps like this that are more arcadey, right? They're more formatted in the spawn. And what I mean by that is, like, compared to Dry Arabia, the way that King of the Hill spawns is more kind of mirrored or should be mirrored. I think maps like this, they should experiment with mirror spawn. So, you know, generate half the map, then flip it. Right? Because that doesn't make as much sense for something like Dry Arabia, in my opinion. I don't think necessarily needs to be there. But I think these maps that have a more iconic arcade look to them, like almost they are fixed generation, would really benefit from mirror spawns. Oof. Hot takes from Miro. Look at this. Starlock is the better player, but Ramen has the best civ in the game on this map. Let's see if he knows how to play it. Do you think so against the Chinese, though, with the Barbican play? Because I think he is going for it, right? He's got 4 people on the gold right now. he can immediately spawn an Imperial Official, drop off the extra attacks. Actually, no, this is different from Starlock. He's gathering a lot of wood, actually. There's barely anyone on food. Ramen did go for the Golden Gate, so neither player trying for that cheeky play onto the central sacred site. I agree with that. I think that this value in the defensive landmark isn't as much there anymore. The thing about these Kremlin drops, these Barbican drops, is before they were really good because you could just follow it up with like Nesta Bees and Springalds or Mangoes and Springalds, right? And you'd be able to hold choke points very well with limited troops. But ever since the changes, obviously Mango's not as impactful at the beginning of an age up. Springalds do not serve as anti-siege anymore, so you can't protect against Trebbing. Like, it just really put you in a position where I don't think you're going to see people rushing for this central sacred site anymore. I think there's a lot more play wider on the map now available because of the siege change. Last week in Team Game, you had 8k gold in your TC range on King of the Hill. But you're a Mongols, right? So that's why it definitely wouldn't just break the sport. I mean, let's be totally real. I don't think many people would delude themselves into thinking that every map is designed around team play and 1v1s evenly. I don't think people would be even close to thinking that, right? We've seen it time and time again. There's very rarely a map that functions incredibly well in solo and team play, right? Like maybe something like, I'd say, Gorge does, but I'm not sure if that was even intentional. This is quite odd. Ramen went super wide instead of just going pro scouts. Like, Starlock is making the right choice, right? Because if he goes pro scouts, he can nuke these deer. They're far enough away. Ramen moved everything out here. The problem with this play, and to kind of like back up and expand on what Mira is saying, right? Because Mira is like, I don't like this play. Mira is a nice guy. He'd usually just flatter you. You wouldn't even criticize you. But the reason he doesn't like this play is because think about what you've just done. You've moved a chunk of your economy drastically far away without wheelbarrow. You aren't getting wheelbarrow still. So now you're gathering your food here, but technically you want to gather your wood here. Do you see the problem? Right? So now if you want to get wood at home, you're going to have to add in another wooden fortress anyway. At this point, it would have been cheaper to just build a wall across here to achieve the same goal. Now that... Can we eat it too? That almost complicated matters. Somehow Ramen gets away with it though. No villagers being lost here. But yeah, the problem now is you've just got all these workers out here. And if you really want to get the maximum value out of this wooden fortress play, you now have to send more workers out. It's just not ideal. Survival Techniques is at least coming in, but as we saw, Starlock already has the pro scouts rolling. Starlock already with a lot of gold being stockpiled. He needs to slow down. This is way too much being gathered. Surprised he's going for the outpost play. Like, Ramen isn't looking to attack you right now. I think Starlock's being a bit too defensive. One's if you think Ramen's going to win this. Two's if you think Starlock's going to take it. With the way they're approaching this, I'm kind of leaning Ramen. Right, like, you know, he is being just very efficient about getting towards his castle now after, you know, admittedly quite a long walk, but the ball's now making up for it. And there's no pressure coming in, right? Starlock hasn't really taken advantage of the situation yet. Now, he will get the majority deer. In fact, he's already going the right way about this. Yeah, he's moving out for it. This is a big deal. Ramen, I liked it all up until this point. We never got a wall. We never got a deer shove in. He could have at least done the deer shove in with the one scout. A wasted opportunity here now means that Starlock's able to take the goodies. Yeah, and you just want to start shooting these deer right now so you can't shove them in. It's worth a lot more. High Trade House in the meantime is now getting dropped. Get your numbers in, folks. We're already generating a pretty ludicrous, what's that, 94 gold a minute passively. Ramen, this should just be your standard horse archer play. Starlock has yet to add in any type of defense, but he's adding in horsemen. Not the worst of ideas against horse archers. And also with the pro scouts, we'll definitely be able to afford it. But realistically, your true goal here is getting out of the age. One interesting thought is like Starlock did have an option to block this fast castle roost build by going Juganu. I think this is actually a good map for them. But yeah, the timing probably wouldn't have aligned, not with this ball play. Starlock. Just being a little bit of a nuisance, guaranteeing a little bit of vital time upon the tech up complete. 18 villages to get this done. 112 trees in range. Pro Scouts meta is boring. I think Pro Scouts, like... It's better than the TC meta. I will say that much. But yes, I think something needs to be done to Pro Scouts. It's too good right now. It spits in the face of, like, RTS logic at its core, which is risk-reward, right? I mean, you're meant to have to take risks to get good resources, like, for example, Ramen having to gather this deer away from his TC. In fact, Starlock still going to get it. Ramen, sick attempt to try and get the pincher there. Doesn't work out. So does lose a worker. A high trade out is generating 244 gold. Not bad. But yeah, I do think Pro Scouts probably just needs a nerf to either the movement speed while carrying. The alternative, which I'm actually not too against, I think actually it would be a smart kind of change, is a nerf on timing, maybe? Or like there's 2 tiers to Pro Scouts almost, where like tier 1 is you pick it up and you move really slow, and tier 2 is like you move at the old speed. Because then it's a really big investment, right? Instead of just a natural. Because the big problem with Pro Scouts is by the time someone's doing Pro Scouts, it's very hard to actually have units to counter the play. That's why Pro Scouts seem so obnoxious. Pro Scouts elongates feudal fighting? I don't think it does. I think in a lot of cases it actually leads to people just choosing tech. They'll only elongate it to get all the deer, and then they'll move up, right? Like you'd think that Pro Scouts would inherently prolong feudal, but actually like it rewards defensive play and just gets people to castle easier. Because now instead of having like 2,000 food safely underneath your TC, you've got 5,000, right? What are you going to do with that resource? Are you going to like build crapper units or get better units? We do have the horse archers out. Lancer's response is coming from Starlock. Ramen, stop pulling a lot of resources. Yeah, definitely reinvest, mate. There's no way we go for a fast Imperial build here. I believe Ramen likes winning, which is why he won't be rushing him. Dimu and B being in 2 different main branches of the bracket makes you happy for once. Oh, it's not going to be easy, though, you know. Dimu, Uzi got on his side. I mean, the obvious ones would be Killjadi. Go see if Numenon's returned to form, and Cat as well is in there. Mia Michael's always a crafty bugger. And then, of course, you know, on the other side of the bracket, Lou MT has a few different people he has to bite the bit with there as well. So, you know, we don't have all the regular faces, the Canadians, cowering in fear at the rise of Benny Boy and B, clearly. I decided to take a week off. Yeah, I'm going to, like, I don't know, I'm going to try to explore ways that KPMM can be used by other tournaments, because I think it's silly that with the way that seeding is done, there is simply situations for players where it's actually not worth playing these weeklies because it could hurt their seeding. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like that. I don't think that's good. Like, technically, this should be used for seeding, because this is showing players in their current form, good or bad, right? Like, for example, KPMM would make sense to use over, let's say, not for every slot, but for some of the slots based on seeding or based on ladder, for example. Lancer's coming in. My reaction is there. Ramen is prepping the crossbows as well. But right now, Starlock, he's playing this right. He's drawing all attention to the back of Ramen's base, now heading out for relics. Lancers need to survive a little bit longer, though. It's good that you're diving and putting the pressure there, but if you lose them too fast, the counter-attack is going to come in hard. We do have a Barbican now looking to be dropped to the center, so Starlock is taking that claim. What if Deer decayed while being carried? I don't like that. That makes Pro Scouts like you're basically... The Pro Scouting becomes like a form of self-harm for your strategy, right? Like it's just hitting yourself in the face with an iron at that stage. You paid for a tech to then lose resources, right? These Lancers are getting way too much value, actually. It's good focus fire from Starlock, just not attacking the Knights, going after the Horse Archers first. It's getting a little bit baited towards the end of this, but still seems to be working out fine for him. Trades out. The reason this is important is by keeping the Horse Archer numbers down, he's blocking the Raiders while he gets Walls up, gets Barbican up. Ramen, wait, did he just lose that race to the center? I think he did. Yeah, Starlock is beating him right now. He's got 2 relics on the way home. Ramen only with 1. Made deer lose a flat 50 food if picked up once by a scout? I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what is the most valid way to approach it? It almost feels like maybe just try making scouts slower. I think, because if you just nerf the food, I actually don't think there's that much value anymore in pro scouts. Even by just 50, right? So you're talking about 350 less food per deer stack, aka 1 less deer. That's painful. Like I said, I think the better way is have 2 tiers of tech. The only conundrum that might come out of that is China with supervision. Right? Because China with supervision would just bypass the balance of saying these techs take a long time by having, like, you know, 2 of them that take 1 minute and 15 seconds. Lancer. Nice intercept. Actually, you know what would kind of be cool? Like, it, once again, doesn't solve the China issue of their supervision speed or whatnot, but if they had it so that survival techniques had to be researched to access pro scouts, that would kind of achieve what I'm talking about late timing. So, like, maybe you make pro scouts take an extra 15 seconds over what it does now, and then survival techniques is, like, has to be researched first. That can be kind of intriguing. Like I said, you do still have to resolve the Chinese issue. So Ramen now getting into the trebs. We have reached kind of slow down point in this game. No immediate stomper coming out either way. Starlock, I mean, I like his comp, right? It's just crossbows. That's really all he needs. Spears now coming in as well is the healthy comp. Ramen, meanwhile, is going for more of a brutal in your economy comp for a guy who doesn't have pro scouts, which is the Knights. Has some runway to it, right? With the boar, the berries, he did ball in the deer in time. But, you know, Starlock is going to have more meat to work with. And not just that, he's got a second TC coming in a game where he's already healthily ahead on economy. Oh no, all his cursing's turned up to moan about Roos. I mean, I think Ramen just kind of misplayed his opening, right? Like, those early engagements in Castle, Starlock just outplayed him. He got better attacks in. He baited attention into Ramen's base when he needed to be out on the map blocking things, and then on top of that, the individual trades in the front of the base were better than Starlock should have ever really got. Ramen wasn't microing is the biggest issue. Starlock, is he thinking about getting some Nester Bees? I mean, you do have a clock tower at home. Yeah, I'm wondering what this Siege Workshop's about. Is he paranoid that Ramen might try for a keep drop? Okay, might be the right read, because we do at least have Wooden Fortresses coming. Wolves are up just in time to prevent any raid there. So Starlock, he's at least trying to be active. Even though he's got the Sacred Site timer ticking, he's looking for a way to attack right now. Thank you for your happy partner anniversary wishes. Appreciate you guys. 1 year as a partner. I mean, we've been making good progress since cracking partner, actually. Shout out to all of you for making it possible. Oh yeah, he cancelled the second TC. He's investing in the castle instead. Wow, so Starlock's like, actually, this is now my win condition. It kind of makes sense, right? He got 3 relics compared to just 2. Then you got the Sacred Site as well. So that leaves him with a healthy extra 180 gold per minute, which offsets most of the value of the high trade house, 259 now. He's already in position. He knows he's scaling better economy over time because Song Dynasty will give that to you. It's not the most terrible of ideas. If he went second TC, he drains his limited food faster. He invests in something other than protecting the win condition. I kind of like this. Starlock, wait, how has he still not picked up these deer? Wait, what? He's on berries and he still hasn't picked up the deer. That's kind of crazy. STBs are now coming. Yeah, but they're not clock tower. I think that is a bit of a mistake. One of them is, one of them's not, right? He could have been pumping these pretty consistently from back home this whole time. He's at least starting to do it now. It means he doesn't have mass. Nester Bees is great in this type of position because your opponent is going to have to dive into you, right? Like, you have a win condition. This is where Nester Bees can look broken still. Usually they look sucky right now because people just kite you. But when there's a sacred site timer ticking, there really reaches a point where you can't attempt kiting anymore. You look at you guys trying to Fury craft a way of nerfing scouts. What if he picks up the deer, he puts it on his horse, he slaps the ass of the horse, it goes back to base, but then he has to stand there wondering. And if he dies, the scout dies. No, I'm kidding. That's way too complicated. I think sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. Just nerf the scout's move speed. You're always going to have a problem of like what is meta and what is efficient, right? That's undeniable. So this is kind of the first true test of like Trebs in the new meta, right? It's just tricky because it's China. The Civ is just very good at building castles, repairing, keeping that sustainability going. In fairness, Ramen did just trade poorly in the early stage of the game. Didn't get any sort of eco advantage, right? So now he's kind of just building towards a kind of one punch and done or dead. Credit to him, he is adding in the mangoes. Doesn't need to be careful with the Trebs though. Starlock! That may have been a little bit ambitious. He's lucky he didn't lose more for that. The double mango in waiting. And it's funny because Starlock should have seen that detail. I'm surprised he even tried it. So right now, Starlock, 6 of his villagers have to keep repairing this. That's most of his eco lead. Ramen has a lot of knights. I'm glad he's finally adding archers. I think that this is the type of fight where knights lose you the game, right? Like when it's anchored in one location, going to choke points, it's death. Speaking of death, oops. Wait, Ramen, why have you built that? Has B signed into Ramen's account? What's going on? He's like, oh wait, these don't count on them anymore. I like how Starflight was like, crossbows die. But Nest of Bees, they snipe Siege pretty well. Flash now coming in, and look at that hit! Uh-oh, Ramen, he may have overstacked. Nest of Bees need a reload, another shot. Another flurry, mangoes go down. And Ramen, you waited 6 minutes to die like this. I can't believe it, man. All he needed to do is play that wide. Instead, Ramen runs straight into a choke point with cavalry and wonders why he comes out bad, bruised, and half dead. I can't believe it. You just can't attempt the attack like that. The Knights need to be enveloping, right? Treb count needs to be escalating, and we just didn't get any of that out of Ramen. Starflock, well, he'll get out of this game as a win. He'll put him on match point. Remember, these are just best of 3 single elims. Yeah, kind of a different state though, right? It still became about Siege, but in a different way. I think Ramen, the tricky element here was just not enough Trebs and poor positioning in the final fight. And good read coming out of Starflock to get the healthy comp going early on. What do you guys think though? Do you like King of the Hill? Do you like seeing it again? I mean, you know, this is kind of the closest I think you'll get to the old school meta, right? We had a Sacred Site claim, Siege. It still feels better than what I remember. I don't know if that's just honeymoon period of not being with it for a long time, but, you know, I remember when it was 10 Springolds on each side and it was the most boring crap to watch. There was at least a hope for Trebs to break that. It just felt like Ramen maybe took the wrong angle. All right. Okay, I'm sensing there's not much you like. Is there anything, just pick anything in life at this point. You've at least got to balance out the dislike. I like cheese, you know, like something like that. It'll make you feel better, trust me. Got to channel some positive energy there, mate. This is much better. Yeah, like, you know, this wasn't like the pristine like game example, I don't think, but it showed you there was a way. Like, I feel like watching that with Trebs escalating, you're like, okay, this seems more feasible than when there was Springolds, right? Because when there was Springolds, they just sneak in, snipe you, sneak out, right? It's like, in that regard, I think it's an improvement. We'll have to see. I don't think either player played that perfectly. I think there's missing opportunities from Ramen, and I also think on the flip side, probably there could have been a lot more food efficiency coming out from Starlock, right? Like, he forgot about his deer close by. He didn't yoink the full pack when he could have next to Ramen. And either one of those differences would have drastically changed the way that game played out at that point. But even at that stage, I think genuinely, the big mistake was kind of positioning. Like, if you play to the north side and push in, your opponent has to approach you across open battlefield, whereas there, like, you gave him the perfect choke point. You gave him this perfect little cliff to sit on and kill you with, right? But yeah, so game number 2. Look at the drafts. I think Ramen is probably contemplating Hallowed Spring here for a deli pick. Starlock doesn't have a grand old answer unless he wants to go for like an old school Chinese barbican drop on one of the sacred sites, which I theoretically could do here. The alternative is you go Gorge and what Ramen picks HRE. Starlock's probably going to go for either Bastards or Mullions there. Love King of the Hill 2. Yeah, it's a very unique map, right? So let me pay out the predictions as well. Damn, only 12% getting paid out. Gotta believe. Maybe some fixes to the map. I like the principle. Yo, what's up, Jaguar? Thank you very much for the sub, mate. Remember, guys, we are back regularly now each week, 4 times a week. So if you were trying to nickel and dime to make sure you got plenty of hours out of your sub, now's the time to start subbing again. Get those subs in. Perfect time to do so. Appreciate it, though, Jaguar. Yeah, we actually... Oh, by the way, like, really cool news across the holidays. We actually cracked the 100 unique subscribers mark, which meant that month we got 60. We're getting 60% of the revenue instead of 50%. So big pog. Thank you to you guys. Appreciate that. They definitely set high standards for the next tier. So like you go 60-40 at 100 unique subs, and then it goes up to 70-30 if you have a 300 unique subs. So yeah, quite the goal to aim for. I mean, it's not impossible. Did you guys see I set a bunch of goals on Twitter this year. We ain't pussyfooting it. Like, my goal for 2025, 1,000 viewer average streamer. And then I think I said something about 40k on Twitter. I really need to get back to being good at social media. And then I think I said something about, was it 30k for YouTube maybe? Something like 30k, I think. I do need to get an editor for that. I had someone lined up, and they've just disappeared off the side of the earth. Like, I haven't heard from them in a month. I don't know what happened. They just stopped coming. So, yeah, if I have any people with that set of skills for YouTube, definitely reach out to me. Bump me on Discord and we can talk. What's the audience comparisons between AOM, AoE2, and AoE4? What do you mean? In what way? If you're talking demographic, they're actually all very similar. So, map number 2 is actually going to be a Bastard versus Ibis on Hallowed Spring, which is very odd. I wouldn't have expected that. It's quite different, actually. Yeah, I think this is why you should have went Delhi. AO2 a lot larger in terms of player base and viewers. Player base, I'm not so sure it's insanely larger. Viewership, yes. But I think it's kind of like the way that AoE2 has been advertised versus the way that AoE4 has been advertised. Does that make sense? Where, like, more people are cognizant of its existence to watch it, right? Like, that, it's kind of crazy when you think about how many more people watch AoE2 than watch AoE4. And maybe that comes down to, like, having the correct type of brand ambassadors, the correct type of content, or something like that. And what about AOM? AOM is just drastically smaller. I think its player base has already shrunk again. Its viewership is really small. It's kind of crazy because, like, when you think about it from a spectator sports perspective, AOM should actually have the most appeal of any of the AoE games, if you think about it. What I mean by that is it has spectacle, right? Like, if you think about the spectacle of what AoE4, AoE2 can do, if you understand the game deeply, you can feel like a spectacle of it, right? But what I mean by spectacle from AOM's perspective is giant explosive thing happens, Wow. Right? Like, that's the interesting thing. Is like, Age of Mythology from a viewership perspective of you watching the game should technically be the biggest of all three. Because it's like a Michael Bay experience, right? Like, you know, if you just want to sit down and let your brain melt as your screen melts with all the explosions going off, like, that's the game. But funnily enough, no, AoE4 and AoE2 seem to continue to hold a lot more viewers. And what is up? There's the man, the myth himself, Kevayu. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, mate. Kevayu, who made this map. We were actually on Hallowed Spring for game number 2 between Ramen and Starlock. I like to call this one Hibiyama 3.0. It's very kind of reminiscent of that, right? The pond has just gotten bigger. Apparently, a lot of people stopped flushing their toilets and just walked over to the local pond to release themselves. We have 8 fish in this pond. The gold and stone on the center is not accessible. It just looks pretty. And the sticker sites are pretty damn close to the center, which is why I'm surprised that Ramen chose Ibids over Delhi. Yeah, that's a little bit perplexing to me. I'm a bit shocked by that. Delhi would have just been a great pick here as well because Starlock went Abbasids, and Abbasids hate playing into Delhi picks, especially on a map where they can easily take control. Instead, Ramen, he was coveting going for the fish here. This is probably going to be an advancement wing play to try and catch up. Meanwhile, Milliwing already on the way for Starlock. Really wish that they would have used AoE4's engine and graphics on AOM. I think, yeah, so the thing is, like, and I've been on record saying this, I stand by it, and I've even literally had top-level players in Age of Mythology agree. If Age of Mythology wants to get big, they need to spend less time building new crap into Retold and more time building an entirely new game. Age of Mythology was a hit. Age of Mythology is probably, by some measurements, Microsoft's most successful Age of launch in over a decade. Now, the follow-up to succeed is you need to make sure you've got Age of Mythology 2 released within 4 years. I think that is where you have to go. Because then you get a new generation picking it up. I also think there was a very interesting discussion. You guys might have seen it recently. It's being posted everywhere about a former Age of Empires dev pointing out that the RTS genre hasn't really evolved in the last 12 to 15 years, which is fair. Some things change, but like at its core, we don't see these drastic flips. I think that that's another thing that maybe someone like Age of Myth 2 could try is drastically changing a certain system, but probably not. The reality is like these bigger IPs never really evolve that much. It's the same in FPS everywhere else. Usually, it takes indies moving the what's the word I'm looking for? Moving the measurement point within a genre. So AOM has 3k people, AoE4 has 16k people, and AoE2 has 25k people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, it's very interesting that, like, based on those numbers, you know, AoE2 has a lot more viewers though, right, than like AoE4. I think it reminds me of StarCraft in this regard. I think what it is it's the evolution of the player. The player no longer plays but watches instead, right? Like, think about how many people in my chat, like, watch my videos, watch Dota 2 but don't play it anymore, for example. Right? I think that actually matters quite a lot. But also what matters is having the correct ambassadors at the correct point, at the correct time, right? Like, you need the right people to build the game around, and then you need the right marketing to do it as well. These are all things that help. Like, no one's going to tell me that the Viper hasn't been an absolute boon to the existence of AoE 2 over the years. Same with Dowie. Starlock now coming in with the Ram play, so of course the natural counter to the dock, and doesn't really have to spend anything extra to get to it. Behind this, we do have Starlock playing for 2TC. Meanwhile, Ramen is just going to be adding in archers for this age. Stable's coming as well. Zero Space, Stormgate, and Battle Aces, they're all doing an evolution RTS in their own way. Yeah, and I haven't really touched Zero Space in a while. It looked kind of intriguing. Stormgate obviously has its issues. I think Battle Aces didn't have its issues, but it created its own. It's created an unnecessary pay-to-win element that I literally warned the devs directly not to do. And I'm a bit disappointed they did. Because I think that's the thing that's going to stop it from actually helping RTS reboot. Because that's the thing, like, when one of these succeeds, people come in, right? Like, you know, these old school hardcore RTSs like AoE4, Age of Mythology, AoE2, they get new players by having players come through the easy system, you know? Like, experience the simpler game and then come over to the more advanced one. It's very hard to get people to just drop into AoE4 and AoE2 now. Especially with how elite the existing player base has become. Ram is doing a pretty damn good job of getting through this. Looks like it's actually going to be a little bit tight. Nice rotation there. Ramen comes around the back, and the Horseman will get in time. So Dog is going to be protected, and Starlock. A good idea, but in the end, completely wasted effort. Ramen is now invested in an army. He's looking to press. And remember, guys, he is also a Ramsiv. He doesn't have to pay into a Blacksmith, into a tech to get these either. So Ramen can now return the service back towards Starlock. He just went 2 DC. What you miss these days is an amazing narrative campaign. Agreed. Age of Mythology, like, smashed that, right? I honestly don't think AoE 2 smashed it that well on campaigns. Like, they're good. Don't get me wrong. But, like, if you told me to choose Age of Empires 2 campaign over, like, Dawn of War campaign, I'm never going to pick AoE 2 campaign over Dawn of War. And AoE 4 is that to a bigger extreme. Like, AoE 4 treated its campaign like a tutorial, but then the tutorial isn't even relevant. That's why I'm really hoping the new expansion is going to have 3 new campaigns in it. This map really reminds you of Cauldron. It kind of does, right? I call it like Himiyama 3.0 for obvious reasons. But yeah, it does have Cauldron-esque elements around the central pond fight, as there's just so much value there. Maybe it could be decreased from 4 fish per player to 3 fish per player. That might be a bit better. And now, the counter rams Ramen. Not only that, look at his resources. He's getting ready for Castle Age. Guys, it's looking like we might get to a game 3 here. Because Starlock has absolutely nothing. I don't get it. Shooting games don't really change either. I debate that. Shooting games, okay, here's a quick way for you to really think about that statement you just made. The last time, like, RTSs tried to fundamentally change was, like, could we agree maybe Warcraft 3, right? Like, Warcraft 3 was where they, with the hero units, before that, like, the raw recipe of RTSs, you can be nitpicky if you want, but if we're being, like, really core to it, it didn't change. Back then, Unreal Tournament was a thing. It evolved into games like Call of Duty. It then evolved into Battle Royales. So to argue FPSs have not evolved is simply not true. They've drastically evolved. Multiple times. And also, the other thing is, like, comparing to shooters is pointless because they're the dominant pick, right? Like, if you're not the dominant pick, then, yeah, you are going to struggle to just get the general audience. Does that make sense, right? Like, you can kind of get away with changing less if people are already still playing your game. Like, numbers really do pull a lot as well. It's also just the simplicity. Like, me picking up a shooter requires a lot less time than me picking up an RTS, right? It's like, you know, FPSs are intuitive. You point, you click, you shoot. Now, mastering them is very hard, but that's the golden jackpot, by the way, right? That's where RTSs can sometimes struggle. That's why, like, I always keep trying to cheer for battle aces when I can, is because taking something complex and making it simple to pick up but hard to master is a good idea. That's actually the dream. If you're a dev and you can create systems like that, you're on Cloud 9. In a weird way, that's kind of why MOBAs sort of succeeded. It's like RTSs was so much more complicated before them, but it was also the fact that you could just play and focus on this one character, and you might still lose, but like you weren't overwhelmed by the level of information, if that makes sense. You can ignore it and get punished, but the degree to which you get punished is like less extreme and obvious than blatant in an RTS. Yeah, Ramen is starting to stockpile up, right? We have already got the tech up on the way. Growth Wing's coming in. Starlock is in an abhorrent position here. Hope it doesn't feel like I'm not focused on the game enough. I feel like we're coming back to it when it matters most, right? We had a little bit of pressure play. He backed off from it. He made the right choice to tech instead. Starlock has been forced to reinvest in the age. He's getting a little bit of chip damage done here. However, without undermesh, it's very difficult to hang around here. I think Ramen is misplaying this a little, though. He shouldn't be microing villages away. He should just shivs out. There are 2 horsemen that would just insta-die here. Ramen? No way you're going to lose this game because of 2 horsemen. This doesn't look great, does it, right? He's still behind an economy. So we would mop up the last of them. But Starlock has now bade Ramen to come home. His economy isn't terrible. He's going to catch up. And in the meantime, he can keep feeling pressure, right? Because if you add in archers and spears, well, you'll be able to go into composite bows and easy peasy. When we talk about RTS, we exclude the newer forms of RTS. That's true, because they're not like RTS, right? They become like a different genre. Paradox is a perfect example, but they called them, was it Grand Strategy games? They're kind of different. Total War is kind of an evolution of RTS, right? Like, that's another one. I think that's a bit more apparent you could go towards. I do agree that there have been evolutions of strategy games for sure. And you could technically argue that like FPS is different from Battle Royale, right? For you to like protect. But then like if you really want to go the way of like the extremes of my point about how like sometimes evolution is too important, we can actually go back to FPSs to point out the fact that when you look at FPSs, arena shooters are down. Bar 1 or 2, they keep all dying. Did you guys not see XDefiant announce its closure the other week? Arena shooters don't work anymore. So it's not just RTS, agreed, but then that kind of re-amplifies the point of like trying new things, evolving isn't bad. And I agree, Dune Spice Wars was incredible. I love that game. I think the only issue with Dune Spice Wars is its late game is a bit boring, but its early mid game, the intrigue is very, very well designed. So Ramen has a lot of camel lancers. He has good map control. He should be looking for relics now. Culture Wing's coming in a minute. He needs to be fast about this because if you pump too many camel lancers, your opponent can pivot into camel riders. Hasn't admittedly got much food to do so with though. Yeah, I think Ramen's getting a bit too ambitious here. You just want to play north and south, not central, right? Come at your opponent's base from both angles. And while you're doing that, go for all the relics because they are all situated in the center. Bar 1, right? Like this is the only one that he would struggle to get. Camel Lancer versus Camel Rider, who wins? Camel Riders. It's not even close. It's legitimately not even close. Camel Riders have a great attack speed. They do more damage as well. Like, look, you have 4 melee armor, you do 22 damage. A Camel Rider will do 28 while having 60 more health than you. It's ridiculous how quickly Camel Riders melt through Lancers. Oy, oy, oy. Ramen, I think this is a bit too much time headbutting the wall and not enough time gathering relics. He does at least have the switch now coming, but this was quite wasteful. Starlock kind of has a semblance of hope now, right? He gets his tech up. The army isn't absurdly over the top for Ramen. On top of that, Starlock has still got a reasonable amount of resource left to work with, right? He's going to have to add in farm soon, but he didn't go for Eco Wing, but he has got a big enough Eco lead that he can kind of get away with it. Especially when you add in the fact that the Golden Age is just better for this Civ. 5% better than the IBID one. You love the fact that Starlock is actively pumping out Camel Riders as well. It's kind of cool because when you add them in with Spearmen, you can just come along and just assist the Spears in the fights. We even have the Camel Barding coming. I love this. Camel Rider Shields, which gives the +3 armor. I feel like we're starting to see this tech a lot more. It's not cheap, right? Like, remember, he has got Preservation Knowledge, and he's still paying 320 for this. So definitely a pricey resource investment at this stage of the game. But it shows you his intent. Starlock is going all in on the camels. Flash coming through. Camel Rider's getting a great fight here. Spearman just too high in numbers. I think Ramen is starting to slip. Control this game is not looking favorable for him now. Starlock is finally starting to break out. Now Ramen is picking up relics, sure, but you know, we're talking about the eco lead. You have to look at the raw village account. 15 eco ahead, and remember that's with Ramen having fishing boats involved as well. But torch damage coming in. We do need to see more archers here from Starlock. Now that you've revealed like the camels, your opponent's probably going to be thinking spears to counter. Weirdly enough, actually, Ramen's going crossbows, which isn't ideal. What? This is a bit wacky from Ramen. It's okay. So it makes sense in his brain because of what he should be facing, but like, this is where Camel Riders kind of break the balance of Castle Age if you can afford them. Because they may not counter many different units, right? Like they are on a raw high damage unit like a Lancer, but they aren't countered by crossbows. The only thing that can count them is spears. The simplest unit, the thing that you'd think you'd want to build here, but classic IBID brain, they never build spears. Starlock, yeah, he's trying to build a wall to a new map. This is ridiculous. It's actually crazy as well, because one interesting detail that gets overlooked on Hallowed Spring, but matters as you go deeper in the game, is this. The gold spawns. This is a consistent, guaranteed element of Hallowed Spring. 2 gold spawns on the north, 2 gold spawns on the south. Slightly embedded in the cliffside. So these type of walls are actually securing a lot. Starlock has 12,000 gold down here that he's securing. On top of that, there may be a relic being picked up, but the Dervish has no way of getting home now. Yeah, so Starlock, I mean, this could still be what? Probably 2 relics, right? Like, this guy's going to come home by going north into the main base. That's not going to work well for him. He could maybe get a cheeky wall roll off if he distracts Starlock. Like, actually, the genius play for Ramen would be to wait in the stealth forest, attack, go for a wall roll. Yeah, no, don't tip your hand, though. That's what you'd be doing here if you start attacking. Waller's going to come in. Starlock realizes it, and dude, Ramen, that was a golden opportunity missed. If he just went a little bit deeper and didn't attack with the Lancer, that could have worked out. Instead, he misses the desperate opportunity he needed and now remains 20 villagers behind. Starlock pressuring him hard here. Camel Rider count is starting to shrivel up a little bit, but the Camel Lancers need to access this backline real quick. There's still a lot of spin in the mix. The biggest problem of all, Ramen decided to switch into archers, but this can also backfire if Starlock now goes into composite bows. For now, at least keep him alive, but this is exactly where Ramen doesn't want to be. The classic build of archer camel lancers is absolutely terrible against the Bassets. Okay, why are we still winning this fight? I swear to God, sometimes I look at boot camp and I wonder how 10% makes that much of a difference. I think Starlock overextended slightly, but he just doesn't care, right? Like, at this stage, he's so far ahead that just constantly applying pressure to Ramen, keeping them both down to 0 is good for him. Because it means his eco lead just gets bigger. And wait. Oh, no. Oh, we'll be taking that back, thank you. Okay, that laugh was sinister. She was way too happy with what they'd done there. We're eating camel tonight. Starlock, do you think you're safe enough here? Bloody hell. Tell me you want the 8k without saying you want the 8k. Mate, I'm pretty sure Swiss banks aren't this secure. 4 outposts and a castle. I mean, in fairness, it secures the 4k as well, right? There's just so much gold that he has access to now. Ramen does at least have the sacred sites locked in. Maybe there's a play here if he like keep drops the center, but it's definitely tricky. And we do have composite bows. Like, this is what I was talking about. This is your nightmare fuel if you're an IB player. If Starlock just builds camel riders and archers, he counters everything that you're trying to do right now. Right? Because crossbows and archers aren't going to kill the camels anywhere near quick enough. The camels are going to kill the lancers, and the archers sweep everything that isn't camel lancer. And I mean, this is kind of the tricky thing, I think. You know, like, sure, ranged armor is almost pure damage against these things, but there's still 270 HP each. Another cool thing, actually, with this keep drop is Starlock does also have extra food here to work with. Really important in this game because he's only seeing about, what, 15 farms? Make it 11. Ramen feeling a little bit urgent about the state of the game for good reason. He's now 30 villagers behind. In fact, he's losing more on the backside. The double Lancers raid paying off here. I mean, this is getting unwinnable, right? Like, Ramen is going to have to consider a farm transition at this rate. He doesn't have the walls up to secure flank resources. Let's at least get rid of these Lancers. Breaking comes in, though, and Starlock was waiting. Beautifully done. Patience of a saint here. I thought we were going to get 3 games, but it's hard to deny the state of this now. Ramen is going to end up eliminating the round of 32. He's got nothing left. It's crazy as well. I think Ramen's going to be looking back at this one and kicking himself. If he just played around the sacred sites earlier, relics earlier, maybe went for his own second TC, focused on clumping instead of chip damage raids, I think we'd have a completely different game here. But now it just feels undeniable. Starlock is on top of the world with this army. At this rate, he's going to be Imperial or Ramen. He's still scrambling below 100 eco. I think the Ramen, I don't know how to put this. Abbasid's in this tier. I don't think either of these players might say this. Neither of these two, I'd say, are top 16 players based on like the power rankings right now, right? I think when you get out of top 16, that's where ABBA kind of looks more broken because of the ease with which you can just play off these 2TC type moves, where most civs aren't doing it right now, right? Iobis is very much a clean execution first 15 or dead. There are very rare situations where it doesn't end up that way with this civ. Whereas Abbasid's, and this isn't to discredit Starlock, he earned the victory entirely. It's a civ that is more forgiving in these situations. There's no forgiving left here. GG, curtains closed for Ramen. Tip my hat and say farewell to the Norwegian. Starlock just looking too clean in this series means he's on his way for a date up against Benny Boy. That's right, Team Liquid's Dimu versus Starlock in the round of 16. What do you think, guys? Can Starlock take some games off Benny Boy, or is this Dimu's week? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you all in the next chapter. Give me my money. Oof. Was that someone saying earlier about the production quality? Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Thank you, Flames. Yeah. This PC leveled us up big time, man. Like this, I think the stream quality just looks so much more crisp and clean now. All right, so pay you out? No. I'm gonna hold on to it, let it build interest, and then take it back. Starlock paid out, and I believe that lines us up perfectly for the Dragan M7 series. Yeah. The other option might be Starlock versus Dimu. I don't know, though, if that's going to be happening today. I imagine, because Ben has been on for like 5 hours, so he's probably getting off shortly. I reckon they'll probably play that on like Saturday. What's the rate? What are we talking about? Nani? When are we watching Cal lose? Oh, yeah. Who did Cal get this time around? Oh, mate. Lash versus Cal. Wait, I think that actually did have a scheduled start time. Let me double check. That starts in about an hour and 20 minutes. So we've got some time. But Dragan versus M7. Last time we saw those two, that was, how to put it, quite a comedial series. Should we see them again? Let me have a look here. Let me see if their draft is up. So. Yep, their draft is complete. Oh, God. People just picking the same map. Ugh. No, so it looks like it is King of the Hill. Oh, my God. King of the Hill every time. No, I'm kidding. We've got King of the Hill, Gorge, and Hallowed Spring again. Yeah, I had a feeling this would be like the most picked. Part of me was reluctant to bring Gorge back because it's just like I think it's a little bit overplayed. But we had to remove Atacama, right? It had to be taken out. Yo, what is up, Gherkinshirk 66? Dude, you absolute legend. Look at that. 16 gifted subs. Oh, mate, thank you very much. Thank you for the content. You need a new sub goal? That's true, I do. You know what the beautiful thing is? Wait for it, wait for it. Wait for it. Does it start? Usually it starts a new one. Wait for it. Wait for it. Has it started? I don't know if it started. Dude, you're incredible though. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you. What a legend. Should we wait, it hasn't updated. Okay, I guess they changed it. It used to be like it would do that noise and then it would immediately start a new sub goal. Do I need to manually start one? I think I might need to manually start a new sub goal. Where is it? God, now I need to find it, actually. It should have started a new sub goal, but it doesn't seem to have, which is weird. And I can't find the bloody option. Dude, incredible. Thank you very much, mate. Santa came early? He came very early. It's 2025. Let me check. It might be on my front-facing page where I have to do it. No, I have the gift a sub option there. Who would gift a sub to me? That is... Dude, I remember seeing it somewhere. And now I've forgotten where it is. Is it under settings, maybe? Channel? Yeah, it's here. But I can't change it for some reason, which is weird. Alright, I might have to figure that out later. Feel free to keep going. What should we update that sub goal to when we do it? What do you reckon? Like 400? Is that ambitious? You gotta set the ambitions, right? We set some nice ambitions this year anyway. I do need to think of some extra perks for the additional sub tiers though. That much is for sure. Alright, I don't know. I'll figure this out later. Let's get ready for the series. And then he has a prime as well. That prime seems a bit antique. Thank you, Gherkin. Look at it. Well, hey, mate, it's 17 subs in total, right? Thank you very much, mate. Beautiful. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Remember, guys, you got the prime subs. Those ones are absolutely free. You can just drop them in. All right. So, shall we get ready for another series here? I believe they just hopped into game. So, we can do Dragan. Oh, sorry, reference. The change background doesn't work right now because we've got the green screen down for this month because the green screen would go to about there. I don't think it would fully fit. Yeah, it wouldn't fully fit. It would look a bit weird. Probably wouldn't look as clean as we'd like. Oh, I mean, I could put the green screen up. It's just you'd have a giant PC sitting in the middle of a background. I don't know if it would look better. Do you not prefer this with all the beautiful things in the background? Look, guys, we got Freya. We've got Apex stuff, Call of Duty stuff, Dota stuff, Red Bull stuff, Pokemon stuff, World of Warcraft stuff. Got to paint the walls now? Oh, I guess so. Ugh. What could I make for this month? What could I make the change background thing? I guess like, I don't know, something to feature here, something different. What could we feature instead? What should we feature? What do you reckon, Refrus? Are you a Call of Duty person? Are you a Myth person? A WoW person? A Pokemon person? A Dota person? Or a Red Bull person? Our face on new LCD screen. Yo! Actually, we could change the LCD screen. That's not a bad idea. That wasn't exactly what you tried to accomplish, but... Wow for the win. All right, guys. Do you want to see this? Oh, it's going to make my Pokemon fall over. Sorry, is that bringing a fuzzy effect? Oh! Oh my god, I got to be careful. Those are, like, mint edition Pokemon. They're not cheap, those are, by the way. They're like 120 quid plus. Look at this! Look at this adorable bugger! Look at that! Isn't that cute? Should we stick that there? Yeah, move out of the way, Gunner glasses. Oh, there you go. Is that better? Maybe over there? There you go! Look at that! Look at that cute bugger. It seems to have... Also, I'm going to shake the box. It seems to have turned, because I had to... I tried to keep it in mint condition, but I had to flat pack it to bring it across from Germany. There you go. Look at that. Wasn't too bad. Oh, all right. Maybe we'll do the... Next time we get to change background, maybe we'll change the background on the LCD cap. That's not a bad idea, actually. I like that. Oh, all right. Oh my god. It's King of the Hill. There's no Rus. There's no Chinese. We have evolved as a community. One and all, welcome back. Stage Vampires for Action. We're here, Midweek Muster number 8. King of the Hill is our home map. It has returned to competitive play. And I'm excited to see what we're going to get here. A new meta, one that isn't just a million Springles versus a million Springles, but we have got Dragan versus M7. Last time these two met, very, very exciting series to watch. The winner of this will be going up against Louis MT. Byzantines versus Delhi to open's kind of wacky though, right? Like Delhi on a map like this? A little bit surprising. Let's start the predictions up. Because I'm wondering what you guys think here. There are maps where you just see Delhi, you're like, it makes 100% sense, right? From the gold gen. But this isn't necessarily one of them. I feel like this is actually a decent matchup for the Byzantines. And did I just type... Yeah, I just typed Dragan versus Byzantines. Okay, technically that is still correct, so whatever. You guys can figure that out. I'm wondering actually if M7's going to go for like a longbow all-in timing here. Could be pretty effective just sending it down the center in these funnel points. I also do wonder if Dragan is going to go for the Dome of Faith, or is this maybe a return to Tower Victory time? Chose to take Delhi for the Sacred Early? I don't necessarily think it's just about that, right? Like, we might be seeing Dome of Faith and just a choice to play into Castle. Would be a little bit ambitious, especially if M7 does something kind of wacky like a Cataphract fast Castle build. I imagine we'll be looking at Grand Winery to open up with either way, especially with a spawn like this, right? Just perfect farms later behind your primary TC. Is that meal to the berry bushes look insanely tiny for some reason today? They kind of do. What's wrong with the Vils on the Byzantine TC? Wait, what? Oh no. Guys, they're just doing the newest workout. You know, there's like those little TV ones that all the housewives do, and flex, they're just doing that, and flex, and flex. Oh my god, does he at least realize? Okay, he at least saw it. But wait, how long was that going on for? That's ridiculous. I mean, considering 2.5 minutes in the game, that could have been happening for like a minute and a half, right? Considering the number of villages. If so, quite problematic, because that would mean basically about what, close to 20% of your economy just wasn't working. Unfortunate beginning of the game for him. Tower Victory is coming. So guys, we are getting the build we're anticipating. Dragan looking to play H2. So yeah, this is not about the static defenses we've seen in the past for King of the Hill. This is about locking Sacred Site and then flooding troops. Now what's going to be interesting is what M7 does here. Because if he does Javelins, he's in trouble. I've watched this matchup enough to tell you that Javelins is the quickest way to lose this against Delhi. They just build too many archers, right? Like, you know, you'd be up, KP, but Javelins counter archers. Yes, that's true. Within reason, right? It's kind of like when we say one Spearman will not beat one Knight, right? Like, one Javelin can beat one Archer. It's not going to beat 5 Archers. Especially with the attack speed buffer that the Tower Victory gives. So usually the way to play this matchup, you can go Keshiks technically for a little bit of raid potential as well. But the safest is actually Lombos. You can just kind of blob ranged. How do you guys predict, by the way? I'm kind of curious. Let's see. Oh my god, 91% on Dragan. Guys, M7's no pushover. He's actually taken games off of Dimmu in previous Midweek Masters. So definitely put some respect on the name. Byzantine's definitely no pushover either. I'll have to see which way he wants to go about this though. I really do like the idea of Lombo spam. I wonder, has he actually scouted out what he's up against on the other side as well? Sheep count on each side. It's actually going to be 10 for Dragan. 13 for M7, so really impressive haul there considering he started on sheep as well. And we do have stables. Yep, this is going to be Lombos. I love it from M7. This is the correct way to play this. Horseman Lombos is really, really strong. Especially, like, the other detail that's going to matter here is your economy is better for getting into these techs early, right? Whereas, like, Dragan's economy is free, but it takes a long time on these technologies because you won't have extra scholars, right? Like, look here, double broad axe over 2 minutes. Blacksmith techs will be over 2 minutes. Meanwhile, what you can do is, as the Byzantines, is you can rush your unit comp and then come in with blacksmiths on delay and rush the tech. Yeah, I always find that Byzantines are very intriguing for that detail in this particular matchup. They can just really catch you off guard. They can even get ahead of a Dome of Faith player on blacksmith timings. You always assumed M7 was Myriad. Guess I was wrong. No. M7 is his own person. Alright? He don't need no man. No, M7's... I'm trying to remember what nationality it was. I think it was Austrian, if I remember correctly. Just double check it. Yeah, Austrian. Very capable lad. I mean, this is what I love as well. Like these are upcoming players that you guys are becoming more and more familiar with. Like, let's just go back a year. Would any of you known either of these two names? And this isn't like to make them feel better. This is just to be honest about neither of these two. You wouldn't know them. You're like, who the hell are those guys, right? It's like, it's actually really great that we have tournaments that have helped a bit. I think Dragan like was helped a lot by King of the North. But just also just these weeklies, getting a lot more eyeballs on these lads. Getting them prepped for big tournaments, but also allowing them to build a bit of a name for themselves. So Horseman already arriving. Dragan is going to infantry comp a little bit slow here. Yeah, no pressure like they come the other way. M7. Big claps. Golf claps all around. He didn't fall for the trick. I'm telling you guys, if you ever play this matchup and your opponent goes Tower Victory, do not go Javelins. They will tear a hole in you so big, it will open a gateway network to the warp itself and let the Chaos Gods out, right? Like, it's that bad of a choice. Lombos just allows you to outrange, outgun, play at your own pace. Build the premium line that will never die while you discard the things you can replace. Dragan, how long until Pro Scout? So 3.5 minutes. Long way away, but will matter a lot now that your opponent's playing into Horseman. Dragan hasn't... Okay, there we go. I was about to say, hasn't gone for the Ghazi. He's going to go for the 1-1-1 build. Now, what's interesting that M7 can do here, it sounds a little bit wild, but I've seen it work. You do these initial trades, and then you pivot archers, just mass archers. Mass archers and Lombos is weirdly effective. It sounds like it shouldn't be, and it really shouldn't be. But I've seen multiple players beat this Deli build by doing it. Kind of makes sense when you just boil it down, the idea of like ranged always being able to engage, melee not being able to, right? Walls are going up, so M7 just hunkering down a little bit. He might actually pivot for like a castle play here. It's usually a way that Byzantine players like to play comfortably, right? So you just get this influx of troops towards 10 minutes, which is really strong because they're basically for free off of olive oil. And then without adding in additional units that cost you real resources, you just add in the mercs to keep balance and go for age 3 with the difference. Other cool thing is you have to remember, at this stage, they're not even 30-30 on economy, right? Like, yes, Delhi have got this increase, 15%. They've got about, like, one extra 5 villages. But the funny thing is, with the system, you've already balanced out that effect, and now you're going to be able to bypass it. So here's the beautiful thing about Byzantine's economy that makes them so absurd. They both kicked your ass in ranked of these, you're familiar? Yeah, but, you know, like, statistically, how many people are conk? And diamonds, you know? Bash in the center. Dragan trying to lock in that win condition. M7, wait, this is an overextension. Big time. M7, no! This is how you lose. He steps up way too soon on this engagement. Longbow mass not big enough. Steel arrow not there. Dragan just sweeps him. That is going to feel like sweet, sweet victory. He gets the Sacred Site. He gets a great fight. He reduces the valuable mercenaries. M7 just jumping the gun. Really needed to wait for his blacksmith techs. Especially considering he's also doing this. Going for olive groves while also trying to go for an aggro play makes no sense. Difficult situation now as M7 has to do with that ticking time bomb. And Dragan now can just play the classico Tower Victory build, right? Blob, blob, blob until you're at 200. And then throw the army away to blob again, basically. The old school Delhi win condition that usually tilted most players out of the game. The M7 at this stage, I don't think you can play the age. The problem though is like this is very different to the Dome of Faith build where if you tech, they tech. This build is if you tech, they dive. So you know M7 can't just say, oh, I'm gonna go Castle Age, right? Like I made a mistake, I'm just gonna age up. If you do that, you're going to get dove by an army of 50 plus infantry units. And the awkward part is Dragan doesn't have to spread himself thin across multiple sacred sites. He's going to have the whole army camping on your doorstep, waiting to hear an age up. Yeah, this is not inspiring faith right now. What could M7 have done different? I think you just need to let the Sacred Site time a tick for a minute or two. It sucks, sure, your opponent's getting extra gold, you don't like it, but the difference it would have made to have had an extra group of Lombos there, plus your Blacksmith techs, it can't be stated enough. Like Undermesh plus some Limitane, oof. Completely different fight. One that I don't think Dragan is able to easily sweep you in. Also, we're not going to try to rotate, but unfortunately for him, the wall's already been put up. Nice guy Archer even hangs around, just let them know, hey guys, you can't come this way. Man, this is, I don't know, a little bit rough. I mean, M7 can still really surprise, right? Like, thinking about the draft a little bit later in the series, he did draft English. His opponent has HRE though. Crap, I feel like Dragan got the better side of the draft, especially with the way that like this is matched up in the first map. There are ways for M7 to claw back, right? We have Gorge and Hallowed Spring. But this game right now is looking a little bit grim. He's getting baited to play the age longer and longer and longer. And right now, it doesn't look like there's a way easily out of the problem, right? It's not like you're getting this split engagement where you can cripple the Delhi's scaling and then go for like an advantage play out of castle. You're just stuck in a numbers game, right? Spam, 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 but that spam's never really going to be as good as the spam rate of Dragan. In theory, like maybe 15 minutes from now it could be, right? Because of the scaling value assistance. That's a long time to wait though, and the game will be over in half that time. Archer exchange, Limitane dying a bit too fast here. And Lombo count still just not looking good enough. Gazi wrapping around the back. Nice blocker this time. M7 at least has the coverage to try and protect. The Lombos have stopped moving. Gazi's starting to catch up, and the A-click maneuvers from Dragan are just starting to win out. So game 1 win for the Norwegian. M7 back to the drawing board. The Byzantines not OP enough. Man, what a Classico though. You know, we go to a map we haven't seen in like 2 years. We get a Delhi build that hasn't been 2 years, right? It's been more like a few months. But it feels like it was years ago. We never really get to see Tower of Victory anymore. It's about 95% of the time Dome of Faith. Just a firm reminder that although Dome of Faith may be the bread and butter of the Delhi right now, it's not because the other landmark choice sucks. Quite the contrary. As we've seen here, the Tower of Victory kicks some teeth. It does so looking so comfortable as well. M7, the biggest lesson you can take away from this is timing and micro, right? That initial engagement was too soon, and his positioning was really subpar. Dragan was just so quick to react to it. And you've got to be expecting that. An area where Dragan does quite well, I'd say, is micro, right? There's a guy who loves his clown carring, loves these all-in type horseman builds in the early mid-game with things like English. So, of course, you know, these are areas that require a lot of micro. It's an area that he should be proficient. M7, I think, can benefit a lot more from the macro side of things. Wasn't able to get there, though. Finally a match I can take notes from. Oh, dear. Wait, who was the guy? Was it Tips who always used to write his notes, right? Oh, we missed Tips. Yeah, Farhik's like, wait, you guys build religious units? I thought Delhi just attacked fast. Oh, this is a good raid, though. This is a sick raid. He's also got Expilatoris, so he's getting paid for the kills. Are you kidding me? Dragan didn't get textiles, and that is the cardinal sin right there. Oh, wait, I might want to get that. I mean, it's good damage for M7, right? It's step 1 on a route to recovery, but he's definitely not out of the grim dark universe yet. No, it still feels like a Tyranid fleet is coming straight for you here. Delhi blob now up to 40 archers. The problem I see for M7 is, although this is a step 1 on the route to recovery, he still needs to win a fight directly. Right, and that's the biggest conundrum of all. Without archers, that feels very difficult to do, right? Like, his comp maybe could make sense for a more open map. But with these choke points you've got between the cliff sides and the veins, I just don't like mass melee. I hate mass melee. And you could argue Dragan's got it too, but like the difference is he has 44 archers. Has double the ranged firepower that M7 does. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me as well on a map that just has so much wood that M7 didn't bother to lean mass archer blob. Well, I think M7 knows he's going to have to make his move soon. We're down to 3.5 minutes. I wonder if people will be sick of sacred sites by the end of this week. It's kind of a rare feeling so frequently to have Sacred Sites be a pressure win condition, right? It's just not something we're used to recently in AoE4. And M7 almost looks like getting ready for Castle Age. Like, had he done this sooner, maybe, but we talked about why he couldn't, right? Like, legit, the whole mass Archer, mass Lombo strat, by the way, it's not just a King of the Hill strategy. I've seen it work on Coastal Glyphs. In this matchup against Tower Victory, it is your best course of action. Now we hit for the Discourse. Horseman just going to pull back. Plenty of spears held in reserve here. M7, even if he microed like a king, it just doesn't matter. This is pretty much just an A-click affair now. One that he's never going to win. So game one, he win for Dragan. And a reminder that no matter what map you stick them on, Delhi are still OP. All right, what do we do to this Civ, guys? Do we take the elephant out back and shoot it in the face? Or how are we going to fix this, man? This Civ... Let's not be delusional. Even before the buffs, it was always a good Civ. I don't think, like, when was the last time Delhi was bad? Can anyone remember? Like, let me know in the comments. When was the last time Delhi was actually a sucky Civ? How many years back are we going? All right, game one. When they could not praise. Jesus, well, back when HRE sucked for that reason as well. Then again, that wasn't any reason that HRE sucked. So, Delhi win for game one. Firehick over the moon. He's like, Tower Victory is the best. Whoop, whoop. And then, where do we go next? I think Dragavan's probably going to have to deal with M7 picking... Nah, there's no way. You can't actually do Japanese. If he goes Hallowed Spring now, he might be able to gamble Japanese, but if you wait until game 3, Dragan's going to nurse Japanese. Because if you go Gorge now, you're going to pick English, right? I guess you could go Malians. The best strategy would be if you go Malians, can win game 2 on Gorge, and then you have English/Japanese to flex. Because if it's, like, you know, depending on the Civ, Mongols aren't going to want to, like, be picked, right? If it's English, you don't want to pick Mongols. Even on Gorge, right? Like, Dragavan has got HRE. HRE against Malians? Maybe just go Ayu instead. I think HRE might have a better punch there, though. Because you can just outpost rush, right? Like, Dragan's probably picking HRE. It's just safe. It counters pretty much anything that M7 can pick. Because you can just outpost rush him. Maybe Japanese is a little bit annoying, but I think HRE is just safe. And we'll find out in a second. I think they're loading the game now. Let me pay out as well. Did we get paid? No. I'm holding on to all the money now. With these make-believe points, I can afford to put my kids through college. God bless. Okay, I'm hoping they remember to make it spectatable, or I'm going to beat someone with a stick. Will Cal win Lash? Will the moon ever be bloody? There are many questions in life. No. Maybe. There might be hope. Okay, I'm starting to think Dragavan and M7 may have forgotten to make their game spectatable, which is going to make me quite mad. It's definitely looking that way. Lash didn't play for 2 weeks, and now's the time. I don't know if Cal played. I'm pretty sure he's just still been busy with Poe this whole time. KPMMA, a reminder to players to make games spectatable and have match history open. Yeah, Dragan and M7 screwed up. I am legit getting to the point where I'm going to start penalizing players if they keep doing that. Because, like, so here's the thing. You can go, oh, KP, they only got once. Here's the thing. It's like Pavlov's dog theory. If someone does something bad and you don't, like, if, you know, all good, like, whatever it is, you reward or you punish. And even if it just happened, like, once or twice a week, it's like, it kind of, like, a lot of these players are either pros or aspiring pros. This is a basic thing of the scene that you need to get right. Because, like, when you think about it, what you're essentially saying is, KP, pay us to not give you content so you can't make money. Why would I do that? Why would anyone do that? So, come on, lads. Get it bloody right. That's very disappointing. I'm very disappointed in that. Don't know who hosts the lobby, but, like, head out of ass, get it right, boys. We do have other series, though, so we can pivot. It's just annoying to do game one and then pivot. That's what I don't like. So we had... I believe Cat versus Red Darksider is just about to begin. What's the time of MT's match? Louis MT had a buy on round 1 because we didn't have enough people signing up for KPM8. Some people didn't want to risk losing points before the EGC qualifiers. Just gonna say it, I don't like the ATR ELO system. Wait, where's Cat's account not showing up? Has he changed his name? Not sure. Keep an eye out for it. Red Darksider is now entering lobby, so we should be able to hop in a sec. Apologies about that, guys. Like I said, we're going to be switching series. It is a must. Lombos used to have one. Wait, did Lombos actually have one movement speed? I'm trying to remember that. Did they? Cow's games don't start for another hour. So no, we won't be casting Cow yet. I'm pretty sure they never did. I'm pretty sure they're always 1.12. Okay, yeah. Fire hit. How dare you try to mislead us. False advertising right there. So, Red Darksider is now getting ready for his series. He's just browsing with the custom games. So, I'll get that draft ready. We'll do Red Darksider versus Cat. Have a draft. What maps did they choose? Oh, Pog. We've actually got a. We got some different guys. We've actually got King of the Hill. That's one of the things I hate about switching series as well, is just doing back-to-back the same map. But we're gonna get Dry Arabia. But we've got Lakeside. No. Oh, I just remembered I need to actually add Lakeside to the. One sec. I need to add Lakeside to the UI system. Give me 1 second, guys. Wait, what is that WebP? Dude, just give me a PNG. It's not hard. Bruh. There we go. Wait, do WebPs upload Cow? I guess we're going to find out. Why is it a WebP anyway? Just make it a PNG. So let me upload this. I really need to turn those noises off. I'm not sure Lakeside will upload correctly, but no. Why is Lake... Okay, I'm just going to take a screenshot with snippet. I don't know why, but it doesn't have the correct version. So, yeah. We'll just make the correct version. Processing done. Fantastic. now we should be able to include Lakeside. Boom! There we go. Sorry about it, guys. Stupid WebP files. And then, yeah, so game 1. Well, Cat got English. This is not good for Red Darksider. You can convert it? Nah, dude. Doing snippet is quicker than converting a file. God bless. You know, it's like 1's if you know what snippet is, 2's if you don't. I'm kind of curious. I'm still surprised by how many people don't know what snippet is. It's so damn useful. The amount of people who just use print screen, like print screen is okay if you are like one monitor person. Print screening is terrible if you have more than one monitor. Dragan is observable? He's not for me. And other series are. Yo, what's up, MT Online? Thank you very much, mate. Or is it I'm Ty Online? Appreciate, mate. Thank you for the 5 gifteds. Thank you, thank you. Is that an Adney I see? Holy crap, that guy still exists? Poogers? What a legend. Thank you, thank you. Oh, remember, if you are one of those people that has an Amazon Prime, by the way, you actually have a free Prime sub you can give. So you can get access to ad-free viewing. You don't even have to pay anything either. Use alt print screen? I still prefer snippet. You're not going to convince me away from snippet. Snippet is God's work. All right, I'm just restarting my game in case it is me, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Unless it's like, was there a hotfix today? No, that was December 3rd. Use light shot. I've never heard of that. Wait, so you install? Please tell me it's not just a screenshotting tech like software that you added, because snippet is literally built into Windows, by the way. So like, you don't have to add bloatware, basically. Alt F4? That's how you got the gold rank. Uploads as a link. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. Red Darksider is now in game, so you should be able to hop in a sec. Just need to wait for AoE4 to stop being a pain in the butt for a sec. It likes to do at the start. Did I really just at players and then 5 minutes later, 2 other players didn't make their game observable? No, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Well, it took like an extra minute to the point that like I think Dragan M7's is done now, but whatever. We'll go with Red Darksider and Cats. How do you feel about your tinted lenses, and are we sponsored yet? You know what? I quite like these tinted lenses. What, you mean from Gunner? Oh, dude, we've had a Gunner link for a while. If you guys actually want to get your hands on these, by the way, code Pigeon will get you a discount. Look down in the panels. It will give you the deets. You can even click through. Didn't get to see your game? No, Dragan, because lobby number 2, game number 2 wasn't spectatable. So one of you, I don't know who hosted it, did not make it spectatable. At least that's how it seems. Because I could observe other games, I could not observe yours. So we switched over to Red Darksider versus Cat, which is now about to kick off with Chinese versus Delhi. Wait, you didn't go English? I guess because it's Delhi, it's a little bit risky, right? But yeah, highly recommend these, by the way. These are the Overwatch lenses. Whoop. I like these. I think the really cool thing about them is, like, to me, I like glasses that kind of, they give you a unique look. I actually think the Gunner ones do that really well. That's why I keep getting new ones of them. Sometimes replays get bugged. Sometimes players also forget to make the games observable. It's like, that's also admittedly a possibility. Did you guys definitely set it observable? Was it because it was EGC Gorge? Really? Like, you guys are 100% certain you definitely made it observable? Okay, it was observable. Okay, so maybe it is Gorge. Let me double check this. Let me see if I need to re-download Gorge. We got 2 minutes until we're in game, so I'll try and re-download. If I want different looking sunglasses, I'll buy a Balenciaga. I mean, dude, it's not like they're not even sunglasses. These are prescription, mate. Also, just gonna point out, because I like doing this with him, okay? Because he says he's never gonna give a streamer money for some reason. You can afford Balenciaga and you don't subscribe? What the fuck? There's a horse on my PC? Yeah, it's making it run faster. Okay, why is the mods not searching? That's a bit weird. It's a matter of principles. Your principles suck. Your principles suck, Balenciaga boy. Do you pay for Netflix? Do you have a Spotify account? We're gonna get on the list. You better have your subscription principles better be all-encompassing, or you are a hypocrite, sir. Okay, what the I can't even... My mod page is not even loading right now. Whatever, let's get ready for the game. We'll check this again afterwards. There you have all those things! And how many hours of Twitch do you watch? Oh my god. You lack principles, sir. I don't mind if someone's not subscribed, but at least whatever the reason is, be persistent with it. Jesus. Since they're both here already, we probably know how it ended. No comment. Oh, man. All right. We finally done it. Red Darksider. This man has committed to so many of these weeklies, and we've never been able to catch it. Let's see if he can slay a kitty cat. It's King of the Hill time. Chinese versus Delhi. You know, we just saw this matchup with Dragan playing the Delhi, and it looked pretty damn strong with the old school Tower of Victory build. But guys, Cat's got a classic here. If there was ever a map to counterpick Delhi, surely this is the one. A Barbican drop in the center would ruin everything. So let's see if that's exactly how Cat wants to play it, considering most players are too greedy. They love their Imperial Academy too much these days. Yeah, I love how from now on, we're just referring to him, okay, as Balenciaga boy. I wish there was a way to set nicknames in Twitch. Oh, man, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, this is round of 32, by the way. So, week number 8, I thought it'd be cool to kind of bring back the King of the Hill, all right? See how it functions. So far, we've had some interesting games. Actually, I don't mind it. I always get a little bit weary with maps like this, just as default maps, because you can run into issues. I think we had that with Atoll, where like 2 or 3 picks are dominant. We do try to introduce new maps in a way that like the default maps are more widely applicable. Otherwise, you just basically get like 20 games of Roost, right? Like even though Scarguard is incredible, Scarguard kind of ran into that issue. Like 4, maybe 5 maximum civs you pick, right? That's why I'm usually quite proud of Pigeon's View, like we had the week for Pigeon's View, because I feel like that was a map where at least half the roster of civs we had could work. Haven't seen the King on the Hill yet? The King is the Relic. Yep, this right here is literally the Relic's the King. Glad I could help with that. Sorry, I just got like the TikTok Live just obnoxiously popped up asking me about polls for some reason. And I'm like, what the hell? You want me to be involved in a poll? You better pay me to dance on it. Imperial Academy now coming though, so Cat, this could still be the Barbican build. The way you usually do this is like you just kind of like slow roll and get one villager building out the Barbican, but the timings now wouldn't really align, I don't think. So I guess it's just allowing the potential for Delhi to take the center, which is surprising. Then again, if Red Darksider doesn't go for Tower Victory, it's pretty much just like a forfeit in this matchup. There we go. Good lad. So Red Darksider knows. The reason this is important is if you don't go Tower Victory, then Cat can just go Zhugnu and you lose. You need Tower Victory so your archers can clear the spearman quick enough for your Ghazi to win. So good read. We could have a game here. That's Pro Scout's fast castle. Known cat, there's a high probability it's possible. I do think that Gazi can beat that back though, right? And then also you can kind of like pseudo mirror, not as fast, but you can still go for attack as well. So, I know Cat does like Pro Scouts. What is the probability here? Apparently reasonably high. That's a lot of people on wood. This could be in prepping for the stables and also the Pro Scouts alongside it. Gold is looking... Yeah, we're getting Pro Scouts 100%. I mean, guys, if you think B does Pro Scouts a lot, you haven't watched enough Cat games. Like, if I had to percentile base them on how often they do Pro Scouts... When playing China in particular, Cat would eclipse B. I don't think I've watched a single Cat game where he didn't go Pro Scouts on Chinese. What do you guys think? Like, is anyone else getting a little bit sick of the Pro Scouts meta already? It's weird because we got rid of the TC meta and I was so happy. I thought that was actually a drastic improvement for AoE4 collectively. And now I feel like we're kind of slipping back into an awkward phase because of Pro Scouts' value. Not Pro Scouting, it's like not doing coke in the 80s. It's like, were you really even there? Right? And then like, you know, it used to be deer shoves was that premium cocaina, but now that's like the equivalent of sniffing sugar in the club. Everyone knows you're just pretending. Darksider, because he went for the Tower of Victory, there's no way he'd ever be able to mirror with Dome of Faith not being there, right? It's like his own timing is just going to be bad. He could go for a shove-in. I'd actually love to see him do that right now. He even queued up survival techniques, which I'm not sure if that's a misclick or an intent to come out. Sheep count is looking good for him. He's got 15, so there should be that necessity to shove out that far. 100 wood, 300 gold, new cost of Pro Scouts? Maybe. Okay. I have a crazy idea. It's going to sound crazy, but like it probably would achieve the goal. We were talking earlier about how... You know, a few options I said is like you could increase the tech time it takes, but that just enables China further. Movement speed of scouts is an obvious one. What if, and this is really wild, what if Pro Scouts cost stone as well? Huh? Right? Like, that would drastically change the timings you could achieve. It'd be much, much harder to rush Pro Scouts if it cost stone. Because it's not organic, right? Like, you gather wood and food to get your hands on Pro Scouts. Pro Scouts already cost a lot of tempo for feudal aggression. Yeah, but the problem is Pro Scouts just makes it way too easy to go castle. Like, this is the thing about Pro Scouts. The reason why it's so dominant in the meta is, like, if the play goes semi-good, you can then just play into feudal. If the play goes, like, well, you can just go castle. Actually, even when the play goes badly, like, usually you get one deer stack. That's 2,450 food safely underneath your TC. For reference, if you were to calculate that in sheep, you need to get 12 sheep. Right? So 12 extra sheep. That's easily enough to go castle in a bad situation. I think Pro Scouts is definitely too good. Something does need to change. It's a difficult balance. You could argue, yeah, feudal becomes too good, but like, you know, it's kind of that example of like, should you need to play the game, if that makes sense, right? And fast castle builds, just like the 2TC, 3TC, 4TC meta, like these felt like situations where you didn't really play the game. You played a different game than what an RTS is. Or if they added a different unit, not a generic scout. Well, you mean like a unit that could pick up deer that wasn't the scout instead? I think that overcomplicates what should be a simply solvable issue, right? Like, whenever you're trying to solve things, and in RTSs in particular, it's already such a complicated genre, you don't want to introduce weird polarizing elements, because it makes people disconnect with the game. I think but here's the thing, if you increase the cost of Pro Scouts, you have to decrease the tech time. Does that make sense? Because think about it, like, it's the same logic of why does Order of the Dragon suck, right? Because they have to hold on to resources for a long time to invest them, right? To start getting units out, they have to spend double, right? So like, if you make Pro Scouts insanely expensive, you can't then punish the player by making them wait an insanely long time. It's like, I don't know for that reason if like changing the cost to be much higher changes the desire to pick it. It would at least deal with China and Juji being better than almost everyone else at Pro Scouts, right? Because remember, everyone else takes a minute 15 seconds. These guys get it in 30 seconds, which is just bonkers. Right, Darksider though, he's kept his composure so far. We do have a cap on the Sacred Site coming. Cat could still go into Barbican after a delay. This is usually how you see the Chinese play this matchup, or play the eventual Juke new build, is you go Spears, Horseman, and then either transition Castle or transition Juke. Don't forget Aber and HRE. Aber and HRE are not better at doing Pro Scouts. What? I'm trying to think if there's like a better Civ than Chinese Juji. Maybe Delhi because the Dome of Faith is broken. China needs something they do well. Dude, China does like everything well right now. Ever since the Imperial Academy buff, the one stage of the game that they were weak, which is feudal, they're not weak now. I don't think you need China to be better. I think this is like still subtly like one of the most busted civs in the game. It's just you don't really realize it on ladder because it's complicated to play. But for pros, it's just figured out. It's so dominant. Good pressure coming in from Cat. Plus the red Darksider all the way home. Is able to get the decap behind this, so no extra gold. Remember, Cat behind this, he is pro scouting up. He has plenty of food at home to work with. Barbican now coming. Funnily enough, he doesn't go for the Barbican in the center, though. He's going to play very safe here. Secures the central ramp and also secures the gold. So this now gives Cat the transition even to Juke or Castle. This is actually a really smart way of doing Barbican build. He could have went for Sacred Site, but then he has to do Juke. By doing it this way, he has options. So now he gets to look at red Darksider, say, you'll move, and then react accordingly. Alright, one's if you think Cat's winning this, two's if you think red Darksider's winning this. It's kind of crazy, actually, that red Darksider like, has to take this long to get into Spears with Tower Victory build, right? That does worry me. I think Cat, once he sees this massive Spears coming, it will just be Juke. Horseman. Cat, he gets around the back. Body blocks the retreat. Has to mirror, and now he comes back on him! Oh, that was elegant. Cat. He baited the Ghazi to just mirror, then just runs past them to mop up the backline of archers. And the perfect situation, right? Now the Spearman not counted, allows him to get rid of the Ghazi. And after the full reset, we are indeed getting mass shoot coming from Cat. He has played him like a fiddle. No. Fiddle too complicated. He's played him like a Glockenspiel? Is Glockenspiel more complicated or easier? What do you guys think? I think it's easier. He's played him like a bongo drum. Now with the Zhug starting to surge up, I mean, this is bad news for the Delhi, right? Like, you actually need Ghazi at this stage. No Ghazi, no play. This is how the matchup goes. This is how Tower Victory is meant to give you, like, your edge, is you're meant to have these archers to clear the spears and then the Ghazi clear the Zhug. If you don't have that Ghazi element, there's no win condition. The Saxo, what's a Saxo bin? Should I know what that is? And no, it's not textiles. Guys, remember, the taxmen count as workers. That's why China is currently 7 workers ahead. You see they got the 4 taxmen. On raw villagers, it's actually a 2 EQ lead, courtesy of Song Dynasty. Well, red Darksider, I think he's going to have to go back to the drawing board because he doesn't have a counter to the Zhug. They just got revealed. He doesn't even have undermesh. Are you kidding me? This is a cardinal sin against China. Like, Delhi are usually one of the best civs at throttling you on tech timings. With the Tower Victory build, red Darksider wasn't prepping himself, and this is a big mistake. Cat now has an insane edge. Steeled Arrow. Ghazi only have 2 ranged armor. There's just no winning now. Cat can pretty much A-click these fights and he'll win. Spinman get mopped up. Ghazi get mopped up. King of the Hill is going to be scooped up by Cat. Yeah, let's be a lesson, guys. I mean, like, you know, Red Darksider, I don't think he done a terrible job of his deli. I think he just forgot a key component, which is blacksmith timing. The fact he didn't want to sacrifice 1 or 2 units to get this is baffling. You always have to be aware there's a new threat that's coming. And I think Red Darksider really just slept on that detail. Hero Power's now coming in. I imagine Red Darksider is going to GG out the moment he sees the tech up. Love this as well, because it's going to tell him exactly where the economy is on the flanks. This rate will find it anyway. This is just painful to watch, man. 2 minutes still. Oh, God. It's just such a long time to be without ranged armor. Ghazi Horde once again culled. I mean, Red Darksider, I think the first few minutes of play, he showed some muxies and potential. Definitely slipped up on those early engagements, which is kind of a no-no in this matchup. But as long as he can keep his cool and make sure he keeps track of his techs, there might still be hope. But game 1, he will find none. Never heard of Red Darksider? He's played in like, I think, do you guys know how many for sure? I want to say 3 or 4. He's played in actually quite a few of the midweek musters. In fact, what I can do is we actually have this very helpful thing. You guys want to see this? Look. We have leaderboard type things. So they tell you how many people have played in. And Red Darksider has played in 5. Poor lad always finishes 17th to 32nd, but bless him, he keeps on going. He keeps on giving his best. Gotta respect that. Who knows, man? Half a year from now, he might end up making top 4s. Your eyes? I mean, just, turn the brightness down. Hey, thank you. Appreciate all the people saying happy partnership. Dude, year of being partner. Like, I mean, I think that's impressive as well, by the way. We got partner a year ago. We're averaging, like, what? I think this month we're, like, what? We hit 360 subs. That'll kind of start to expire. Remember to renew your subs if you haven't, guys, because, like, the way that subs are tracked is it's not like month starts and we're already at 360. It's that we are 360 subs between the 3rd of December and 3rd of January. So remember to keep resubbing. But, like, I'm impressed by that, man. Like, we hit pretty good sub numbers. We're starting to really ramp up the averages, which is great to see. And all that within a year. That's a lot to be proud of. All right, so let's mark up the score. Kitty Cat with the win on the Chinese. Delhi gets stomped. I think you just throw a curveball and go Lakeside. Cat doesn't... Oh, man. It's so tricky because Cat has Juji. And Juji could get a really good ram timing to secure the pond. Lakeside is the one that has 1 fishing between both of you. Right? I reckon we're looking at Juji here. Red Darksider on a map like that. Like, what? You can't go Jean. Jean sucks there. Maybe HRE? You might have to. I don't think you want to Jean into Juji either. Thank you, big boy. I mean, I don't know if I go that far. There are a lot of people working very hard in AoE4, I think. But I like to think I do my part. All right, we've got Juji Jean. Juji Jean is a bit weird. I'm not crazy about it. All right, one sec. Let me just start predictions. We'll hop in the game. All right. I love how we always get to just bring on the first. For the first time ever in an official Microsoft tournament, one and all, meet Lakeside. Lakeside is an interesting Boulder Bay-esque looking map that isn't as Boulder Bay as you'd think. Lakeside has barely any fish. You've got shoreline fish and you've got 1 deep water fish each. This is going to be a fun one. Game number 2 between Cat and Red Darksider. As usually Jean matchup. Not only does it have this fish here, but it has a lot of deer. And as a player in the game who's playing a Civ that likes to go Pro Scouts, could anyone guess what the player who likes to go Pro Scouts is likely to do in this game number 2? That's a lot of deer, actually. That's, what? I think it's just 1 shy of what you get on standard maps. right? Because it ends up being 26 instead of 28. But it's all just congested in one location, which you can funnel towards. Other thing I'm looking at, because I haven't seen too much of this map so far, is if Zhuji has like a good Medi-Garden. This wouldn't be too bad. You get the 36 food and probably about 40 wood with the Stealth Forest in this area. But outside that, like Zhuji don't really have too much merit other than being a good matchup here against Jean. Because you can just go into like Mass Spears, Zhuge Nu. You could even just look for like a fast castle build. I think that works quite well for Zhuji. Red Darksider is definitely going to have to find a way of applying pressure and applying pain here. And wow, yeah, Red Darksider didn't even go fishing. Well, that's very surprising to me, actually. I guess you just don't want to really go into a water fight. I mean, Cat is renowned for his love for water. The way he talked to a certain individual. I'm not going to say who it was, but he pretty much said, I messed you up in the last tournament. That's a polite way of putting it when we went to water. He loves water. I'm wondering if there a world in which Cat does just hunker down and go castle. I mean, if he goes Pro Scouts, he has to play the map, right? Pro Scout battles, that's BC's dream at the moment. I feel like it's everyone's nightmare. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if players like Pro Scouts. Right? Like, does anyone actually enjoy the Pro Scouts meta? One's in chat if you actually enjoy the Pro Scouts meta. Two's if you'd rather it just went away. Because I said before, I think it's better than the TC meta. But that doesn't necessarily, like, that doesn't mean much, right? That's like saying, oh, I'd rather lose an arm than a leg. It's not true. I'd actually rather lose a leg than an arm. But still. Downranks defensive Farmville civs. The thing is, like, I like the idea of deer for farms just not being the go-to. But, like, I almost feel as if we're in the wrong order of things where we buff Pro Scouts to be good enough instead of just nerfing farms to be bad enough, if that makes sense, right? I'm a really big believer in RTSs not rewarding camping gameplay, right? Like, I'm not to say you shouldn't be able to camp, right? But it's almost like you shouldn't just inherently get into a game and say, I'm a camp. I think Pro Scouts does give you that inkling. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here. Like, you know, I know you can't have enough units out to block me from getting at least 7 deer, which, if you do the maths on it, right? Let's say I go 4 scouts total. That's an extra 210 resources. Pro Scouts cost 350, right? So I've spent 560 resources to bare minimum get 2,450 resources back. That's a pretty good trick. That, like, with tricks like that, you could be in a follow-up for Full Metal Alchemist, mate. Like, you know, those numbers definitely sound good. And I'm sure this one is as well. That's going to be 36 food, and I believe he's actually going to crack 50 wood with this one. Not bad. Meditation gardens like that on this map are hard to come by, but he did find that very weird tree line, coincidentally, right next to the berries. I think Cat could just go fast castle. Like, he's got fishing, right? And this is just a natural counter to Jean as well. As I said, you have to fight for the deer. The problem is you don't have to fight for the deer right now, though. This might be a map where that could potentially be true because you're funneling towards one location, but like, the biggest problem with Pro Scouts is on most maps, there are too many options, so you can't block all options, right? Like, this is maybe an example of a map where Pro Scouts is deniable because all the deer are in one direction. But most maps, I debate. Like, Dry Arabia is a perfect example where Pro Scouts isn't blockable. Maybe, like, okay, guys, Pro Scouts lets you actually leash the deer and pull them home. Okay, that's a terrible idea. People just leave the deer, and that's all. I don't know. It's a tricky one to solve. I feel like you need to kind of rework the mechanics. I do think that if I had to choose, like, a core element of AoE4 that sometimes can feel very flawed, it would be the food system. In many ways, right? So, like, sheep RNG, the deer with Pro Scouts mechanics, like, these are things that are not easily solved. You'd have to revamp systems entirely. Even just outside of that, like, berries isn't perfect. And what I mean by that is, like, the way that berries play is very enablers towards certain civs, right? So, like, Delhi Abbasses always tend to win the sheep game because they don't have to come home. Wait, why is Red Darksider chasing the scout? That's so much wasted time. Cat is at least adding units in for the age, and in fact, we do have the 1-1-1 build. He's adding everything. Surprised we're getting the Horseman. I thought he'd just go Juke plus Spears, but he just wants to make sure he's got all angles covered. Could get a great pinch. If you get around the back on Jean, stop her retreating, you go in, she shreds. Boom. And this is doable because Cat does have that deep water fish. Remember, this is not shoreline. He has got some on shoreline, but he's got a few on the deep as well. Well, they changed the mechanics Pro Scouts to what it was before. So, like, yes, you require more APM, but what I'd argue is, was the change to Pro Scouts good or bad? I think inherently it was good. I just think that the ripple effect was bad, right? I don't think having overly complicated systems for just the sake of overly complicated systems is a good thing, right? Like, think about making yourself some spaghetti bolognese. You can nowadays just get it in a tin. It's not going to be great, but you can just get it in a tin. And you can just microwave it. Now, some people enjoy the process of making it all from scratch, making it proper. I do. But some people just want a meal, right? Do you really just want to punish those people? Like, they're already punished by the taste, right? So maybe if it was less effective in some way, I could get behind that. But, like, just completely crippling, I don't know. I think, in general, I'm a big fan of, like, simplifying systems where you can and focus on fun mechanics. Like, I've had very intriguing discussions before about whether villager production is fun. I know that's a very polarizing discussion in AoE4, because we protect it like it, you know, like it's the most sheltered child ever. We can't let the outside world affect it, but, like, you know, we like that we have to manually produce, and that's an advantage. But there is also an argument that, like, it's a very tedious element of AoE4, but it's such a core element of AoE4 that we accept that it needs to be that way, right? I don't think that Pro Scouts being hard to micro is a core element. This charge is coming in, Darksider. Needs to be careful, actually. He pumps the Divine Restoration. That means he hangs around for longer, so you're getting a lot of damage in. Be able to back away. Yeah, very important there, actually. Cat had an opportunity to just flank and block Jean's retreat. That would have killed her off there. Didn't find the mark. However, what Cat is doing is finding the numbers. Red Darksider only has Knights. No Archers really here to support. On top of that, we did get Pro Scouts, so we have been seeing them coming home. Kind of crazy that he went fishing and Pro Scouts in this game. I don't like the fact that Red Darksider has just gone all in with no sort of backup plan, right? Like, you can kind of respect it to a certain degree, but what's your angular approach here? On a map like Lakeside, you can see with the spawn, you're very anchored defensively. There's no easy 360 surround here. Yeah, I think Red Darksider is actually going to be, like, now that I'm seeing it in action, I think it's actually going to be a camper's wet dream. Do you guys see why this map would be very favorable for campy civs? Like, brokenly favorable for campy civs? There's quite a subtle but obvious detail when you realize it. Did you guys look in the corners yet? I don't like that. That is insanely easy to defend. Right? Think about, like, a Mongol outpost. Mongols can't outpost rush this map, I don't think. Because your opponent can just fall back to a safe tree line and gold. Now, in theory, you could get Normandied, but, like, in reality, that's just so expensive to do. I do sometimes wonder if transport ships being buildable for, like, free, but a villager taking time would be an interesting mechanic. Like, it would take a long time, though, right? Like, a villager would take a minute to build a transport ship. Red Darksider is apparently going to take a minute to react to... Oh, no. He's busy diving. It's the classic focus on the Knights, right? He's so busy looking at them, he's not looking at the loss here, so that villager is definitely going down. Jean, in the meantime, gets sniped. I can't believe this. It's just a dead villager for nothing there. Red Darksider is still not on water. He's losing on lands. I think this series is over. Dude, it's the classic. Like, we've all been there, right? When you play Jean, when you play Knights in general, you just focus so much on getting those cycle charges right. It really does become a stare down when you play Juji/Chinese against Jean/French like this. Because if one player missteps, the other can just annihilate. Darksider is falling further and further behind now, and I think Cat, all he needs to do is trigger Castle, and that's going to be enough to GG Red Darksider out. Rough time for him, man. Bless him for his commitment. He's now played, this is his 5th midweek muster. He always ends up going out in the round of 32. But, man, I respect him for turning up. Like, you know, this is the thing. Like, I don't think you should measure yourself by your worst performance. You should measure yourself by your best performance. And if he's improving, then it's working, right? Then he's seeing something out of it. Don't measure yourself by what you are today, but what you can be tomorrow. So, my advice to Red Darksider, keep at it, you know? We're close to a third of the way through the format. If by the end of the format, he's making round of 16, maybe occasionally a round of 8, that's an incredible feat. It's all about the long goal, not the short goal. Just like for Cat, the goal now is to try and start making the top 4s. I think this potentially could be his week. It's always been a thorn in the side of some of the best players. He will not be fawned in return here. A 2-0 victory for the Kitty Cat from 3D Clan. GG's, Mr. Kitty Cat. Will you cast Lash later? Of course. Of course. You've got that coming up in about 15 minutes. Just increase the cost of Pro Scouts. That's simple and leaves it more vulnerable. But like I said, there's a few different ways. I think cost is more interesting than going for a change to the tech speed. As much as I like the tech speed instead, because the problem with doing the tech speed, as I said before, is if you nerf the tech speed, you buff Chinese and GG, which is bad. You shouldn't do that. Right? They already won the best Pro Scout civs in the game. You don't want to buff them further. But yeah, like my biggest problem, like that's a fair point from Guts. Like it's very hard if someone Pro Scouts and not end up Pro Scouting as well. I don't think it's always the case. It's less obtuse than 2TC. Because if you remember, the 2TC meta was bad for that. Like, if someone 2TC'd, you had to 2TC. I don't think it's that bad with Pro Scouts, but it can be close. No raid by Dimmu? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I guess he went off. I mean, like, I'm not entitled to a raid. If someone wants to raid, I appreciate it. If they don't, that's entirely up to them. I'm sure he has other people he wants to raid or whatever. I'm thinking what we... Oh, you know what we can do, actually? We can catch game number 2 from Dragan versus Ramen while we wait. Because we've got about 10 minutes until Lash and Cow should draft. As long as they're on time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to talk to... I'm going to talk to some of the tournament organizers in the scene about figuring out a solution around the issue. Like, the ATR solution feeling like a blocker, I don't like it. I don't like that the tournament ELO ATR system and whatever other system they're using with like these big tournaments makes people feel like they don't want to play the weeklies. I think that's negative all around. The solution is to make it encouraging. I don't want KPMM to just become a qualification method for bigger events. I don't think it should be seen that way. It should be seen as a way of improving a circuit. But like having these bigger tournaments use like a few of their invite slots based on weeklies is actually smart. It encourages players to play. There's always going to be ways you can game the system, but I think it can be alleviated to a good degree. Resolve Gamba? Never. I don't think anyone got paid anything, since 100% went on Cat. Just hold your money up in escrow and never let it out. Alright, one sec. Yeah, is ETC Gorge causing some bugs? Maybe they did have the lobby set. My bad boys if you did actually have a setup spectatable. Don't know why Gorge is being weird. I guess I need to re-download it again? What the hell? You get your 10k point. Yeah. Do you not know how gambas work? If no one gambles the other side, right? Like, doesn't just you don't just like. It's not like, you know. Oh, is KP going to start AoE 4? Yes, and then it pays out. Like if everyone said yes, then like no. Hasn't been updated since WTC. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like bump Chum on why did we use Gorge instead, ETC Gorge instead of normal Gorge actually. I'm trying to figure out why we've done that. Wasn't EGC Gorge more intended for, like, team games, right? I'm not sure if it really provided any merit in 1v1.